Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here today. We are going to start off with some fishing, and we'll work on professions for a bit. And we'll give people the chance to come into the stream, and eventually we'll head to the Undercity. We have one last quest to pick up, and then we can look for a group for Ragefire Chasm. So that is the plan for today. Big Mike, good afternoon, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I'm kind of just assuming that we can fish in the lake back here in the Valley of Honor, but I don't really know if we can do that in Classic Era. I'm just kind of assuming that we can. We'll find out in a second, I guess. Let's go talk to the fishing supply person, and maybe we can buy like a bauble or something to increase our fishing. Speaking of our fishing, what level are we at here? Oh, we're at 95, so...
Glory to the Horde.
Tweety Bird, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Farewell.
Monica, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. Big Mike, you're lucky I just had a big breakfast, man. Otherwise, talking about Chinese food would have made me hungry. Sounds good, though. Jackie, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. The Ellis, I'm not a breakfast person either. That's why we had breakfast at 12 o'clock. Like, when I first wake up, I have a piece of toast and a protein shake. And then besides coffee, that's about all I can put in my stomach for the first couple hours I'm awake. So I'm not a big breakfast time person, but I'm a big breakfast food person. I guess that's a distinction to make. I was kind of hoping at least one of these Ragefire quests would give, like, you know, a piece of gear, but apparently none of them do. Unless the one we pick up in Undercity does. It's a little bit depressing. Did I hear it's not griefing, it's just Judgment Day? I didn't hear that. That's interesting. I don't really know what we're talking about, but I can make some assumptions. If it's the tiny violin related, then I've kind of checked out of that story. Yeah, the only thing I can really say on that, as like a final note on it, is that the more that stuff like that gets attention on YouTube and on Twitch, the more you will come to find you will wake up one day in a future where that kind of content is the only content there is. Because once that kind of content like is profitable the way I'm sure it has been for that person and those people, like that's just the shit that people are going to do. And that's the kind of negative content that you're going to see. And it's just going to proliferate itself. And then at the end of the day, there will be no honest content left because the honest content won't be able to compete for clicks and views, and the algorithm will stop pushing honest content and will start pushing more and more BS, as if it doesn't do that enough already. But yeah, that's the dystopian YouTube streamer future. A world full of the tiny violins. Yeah, people will do anything for money. The problem is when like it gets so much attention. And then, like, you know, and Asmongold knows this. Like, I guess I saw that he like talked to the guy, but he knows, he's smart enough to know like that's the dude's end game. Like, dude's end game, do something that gets me on Asmongold's channel. Like, and Asmongold had to know that. But like, I don't really believe it's good to give people like that any kind of attention at all. Because the more you do, the more you encourage those people and people who would be like them. It's pretty simple. Yeah, people will do honest work for money too, but if they can do something else, they'll do that. Like if they can grief a bunch of people and get a lot of publicity and make a lot of money off of it, then sure, there are people who will do that. That's the problem, is that, you know, the more that stuff is like click-worthy, the more attention it draws, the more people will think, hey, this is a valid form of entertainment. And then people start to justify that kind of behavior to themselves. And then yeah, you wake up in a future where that's the only content that exists. And then people will bitch, where'd all the honest content go? Where's all just the solemn normal creators? Well, they couldn't compete with all the bullshit, so they had to move on in life and do other things. You know, they couldn't afford to keep making content. I'm not salty or anything. Not at all. Oh yeah, I know it benefits Asmon, and he knows that too, but I kind of, at some point, I just have like expectations of people. I shouldn't have them, you know. Yeah, of course it's great content for him. He's going to make more money off of talking to the guy than the guy's ever going to make off of clicks that he got from being on Asmon's channel, like, no doubt. But yeah, I just kind of wish that at the end of the day, choices could be made to not draw attention to that shit, but you know, it's the fucking internet, so what could I expect? It's like, I sometimes feel like a lot of people go to the internet just for negativity. Just to see how bad it is, like how bad it can be, and compare their own situations to that, and like maybe feel better. I don't know. I don't understand content like that. But I'm a person, I can't even watch the death reels of like hardcore characters dying because I don't find any entertainment in it. It's just painful for me to watch. I feel bad for all those people. Like, it's not funny to me. It's not like entertaining. So I guess I'm just different. I kind of want to get to a point with fishing here where we can skill it up to the next rank, and then we'll move on. And we'll do some cooking, and eventually we'll make our way to the Undercity. The plan today is to do Ragefire Chasm for those of you just joining us recently. We'll work on professions. We'll go to the Undercity. We'll pick up the last quest there, and then we'll try to find a group. Now, you know, obviously doing RFC hinges on the fact, the idea that there are people on who also want to do it. That's, yeah, that's not a lot of people in Orgrimmar. I'll have to spam, I guess I'll have to spam general in a couple different places. Actually, I could probably join the looking for group channel. I just don't know what channel that is in Classic Era. Where do I see that kind of stuff? Let's take a look. Settings, global channels. So channel 5 must be looking for group, right? I have no idea how to actually join this channel. Wrong password for 5. Oh, okay. That tells me a lot. Yeah, I might have to look up really quick how to join the looking for group channel, because apparently we're not in it by default. And apparently /join looking for group does not do it. Let's try /join 5. Alright, so yeah, I apparently I just don't know how to join, I don't know how to join looking for group channel. It's gonna be a big hindrance to finding a dungeon group, I think. Yep. Let's see if I can quickly figure out how to do it. Well, none of that info is valid. Awesome. Is it all one word, Auntie? Yeah, I could try that. I tried spacing the words out. There we go. Thanks, man. Hey, that did it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, the internet didn't know. The internet wanted to tell me about looking for dungeon tool. That's what the internet wanted me to know about. I even typed like vanilla WoW. It didn't care. Alright, so we'll look in there when we're ready. I'm not in a guild on this character, I don't think. So, yeah. Andreas, good afternoon. Alright, maybe we're not going to get to 120 fishing. Let's go do some cooking over here. I'm assuming we can cook at this open fire. We'll just cook everything, even the low-level stuff. We're just gonna sell it all anyway. Alright, let's go sell all of this stuff. Are we going to work on tailoring at all? No, we're not. We don't have any... We don't have any linen. Miles, good afternoon, man. Thanks for being here.
Ogra!
Alright, let's head over to Undercity. I should have already picked it up, but we have one more quest to pick up over there before we can do Ragefire, so... We are going to have a little bit of running around here. Once we pick up the quest, I will start to look for a group in the Looking for Group channel, and we will see. I guess I need to probably join that channel in my settings. Or did it automatically join it? It automatically joined it. That's sad that it automatically joined it, because I haven't seen anybody posting it yet. Which means it's not very active. Which means it might be hard to actually do this dungeon. Oh, I'm gonna keep the fishing pole on for the entire dungeon, Tweety Bird. Yeah. Yep, we're gonna do it with the fishing rod. I actually don't think it would affect us at all at this point. Oh, I sold my staff! I need a vendor.
What can I help you with?
Lovely. There it is. Okay, I bought the staff back. Nobody panic.
Strength.
Actually, it sucks that Blood Cell isn't as active anymore. Yeah, it absolutely doesn't. And we can go ahead and we can blame Blizzard for that. Yeah, we can absolutely blame Blizzard. It really does suck. Because what they did was they broke the hype of hardcore up by creating a gap of engagement in it. Because they said, hey, we're opening our own servers. Come play there when they're out sometime this summer. And then people were like, yay, summer! It's June right now. It's gonna be summer soon. Let's not level any more characters on Blood Cell Buccaneers. And then time passed. And then more time passed. And then less people re-rolled. And then more time passed. And we still don't have an effing date for the servers. So yeah, you know, Blizzard, and I talked about this the other day. It's intentional. Like, Blizzard is full of corporate people. Corporate people know what it means to create a lack of engagement with a product. When you create a lack of engagement, you create the opportunity for the end user to seek alternate means of entertainment. And they fucking know that because they are Activision Blizzard. They have people working there who are much smarter and more knowledgeable than I am. So I know that they understand these things. So they intentionally created a lack of engagement with hardcore, you know, and then they're going to do their hardcore thing, which is going to be really popular for a small amount of time. But I feel like they've done a good job of basically killing it, yeah. I feel, compared to how it was, like how it was before announcement, every single time you re-rolled, the starting zone was busier and busier. You could see that the interest was growing. As soon as they made their announcement, you would re-roll, and you would see less and less and less and less people in the starting zones. And yeah, and they did that. They did it on purpose because they understand how things work. Like, they're not stupid. They don't do things in ignorance. And they did it intentionally. And you'll notice that, like, you know, we're going to get into August and we're not going to have a release date yet. And every day that passes, less and less people are playing this game type. And they're moving on to either, like, regular classic era, or, you know, what Blizzard thinks that they're doing, and what Blizzard really wants them to do is Blizzard really wants them to go play retail. Because in retail, they can sell them shit. You know, you got the cash shop, mounts, cosmetics. Yeah, they want everybody to go to retail. They don't want them playing hardcore. Hardcore doesn't make them any money. They had to do work to make a hardcore server. They're not going to make any money off of that. So they are absolutely incentivized to kill the hardcore scene. So that people will go back to retail. So that people will play Classic Era. So that when the new season of Classic Era comes out in December, that people want to do that. But yeah, Blizzard has 100% incentive to kill the hardcore scene. Just because some people who stop playing hardcore, some of them will go play retail. I play retail a lot these days, actually. Yeah, I've been playing the Warlock. I've been playing my Shaman on my own time. Just doing stuff at endgame, seeing the story quest. I've been enjoying it a lot. They're not going to make any money off of me because I'm not a person that uses the store, but some people are, so they're going to get that money. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Absolutely. Yeah, Whitney, a lot of people never buy anything. I've never bought any microtransactions for WoW. I don't even know if I've ever been into the store to look at anything. I can't remember, like, ever specifically opening the shop. Well, I guess I've gone to the shop to do, like, character transfer. And yeah, I've done a character transfer through the shop, so I have clicked on the shop tab. Yeah, absolutely. But I've never did any, like, window shopping. And yeah, so you know, for every 10 people that stop playing hardcore because the scene's kind of dying and they're waiting for the other server, probably one of those 10 people will go back and play retail. And of that one person in every 100, like, 2 of them will spend money on the store. But that's money that Blizzard can make, and they're not going to make it if that person keeps playing hardcore on Bloodsail Buccaneers. Do I remember the years before microtransactions? Barely. I mean, the original mount store opened up in Wrath of the Lich King, right? Didn't they, like, start the shop for, like, mounts in Wrath at the end of Wrath? Pretty sure they did. Which means you only had, you know, vanilla and BC without any kind of cash shop. And a lot of people don't remember that. Yeah. Actually, you don't like the 1 dungeon a day rule? Tell me that's because you would rather do, like, many, many, many more dungeons, and not because you like being limited to 1 boss per character. Because yeah, the being able to do the dungeon more than once is really impactful to me. It actually incentivizes me to do more dungeons. Even though I might die each time, because it just increases the chance that you'll actually get what you want out of a run. Wrath leveling is enjoyable. The end game is mostly just about raids. Like that's mainly what you do in Wrath end game. Is like you get your gear from dungeons. You know, you can get some really good gear from the heroic Titan rune dungeons now. But you get your gear and then you either raid and you raid log, or you don't. There's not a lot of, like, solo stuff to do in Wrath. There's like you can collect some stuff. Like you can collect some mounts in Wrath and some pets. But why would a person do that when they could get those same mounts and pets in retail, and they can get so much more in retail for, like, if you're a collector, you want to be in retail, because yeah, the collection game just doesn't really exist yet for the most part in Wrath. But yeah, if you like raiding, there's a raiding, and that's basically it. That's kind of why I stopped playing Wrath. I enjoy the leveling. It's still a journey, but it's a little bit quicker. I like all the class design in Wrath, but I don't wanna raid every week. I don't have a big interest in raiding right now. And besides doing that and doing 5-man dungeons, there's nothing to do in endgame in Wrath. You could level lots of characters, you know. As we have, partially. We missed the Zep coming here. I'm sure that when we... oh, wait, is that our Zep? Or is that the Gromgull Zep?
Potential customer.
Let's see. Undercity. Okay, we're good.
Glad I could help.
Yeah, we missed it. I bet we'll miss it on the way back, too. Seems likely. I wonder how the leveling zones are in Wrath. I wonder if there's like anybody like leveling consecutively on most servers. I should check out some of my servers in Wrath one day and see if there are people actually leveling up in the game. I'm curious to see like what it compares to just like classic era servers, not hardcore servers, but if you go on like Mancrik or any of the other classic era servers, there are lots of people playing in classic era who are not playing hardcore. And I wonder how that number compares to people leveling up in Wrath of the Lich King. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. I haven't. When's the last time I played Wrath? Would have been the Joyous Journeys, the aborted Joyous Journey that we didn't take. When it was only going to be a 4-week Joyous Journey, that would have been the last time that I leveled anybody in Wrath. And Auntie, you mean the classic era classic servers, right? I'm assuming if you meant Wrath, you probably would have said Wrath. It's like we have too much different vernacular. You know, people say classic, and people say classic era. Some people say vanilla. I feel like when people talk about Wrath now, they specifically say Wrath, which is good. That's how it should be. I think like if we just say classic, we should mean classic era, and if we're talking about Wrath, we should say Wrath. And I feel like for the most part, people do that. Classic vanilla, yeah. Yeah, when I play on the Night Elf Priest even, I usually see people around. I don't think as many people play Night Elves, so it's never like super populated. But there are always people, and I'm gonna check out a Wrath server eventually and just see what it kind of feels like at a similar level. To see if anybody's still playing Wrath or if it's kind of like dead game at this point, like I feel like it might be. Finding dungeon groups is hard. Yeah, you know what would really help finding dungeon groups in Wrath and would probably bring some people back to the game looking for dungeon tool. Blizzard, why? Yeah, absolutely. I always forget that about Wrath. I think, oh, maybe I'd play some Wrath, and then I remember there's no fucking looking for dungeon tool, and we're like through the Trial of Crusader patch. And then I say, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Because yeah, no, it absolutely sucks in Wrath trying to find groups, especially if you just want to play a DPS class. Like, even like our level 70 warrior, I thought I was going to take him through Northrend content, and I just wanted to be able to do some fucking dungeons as an arms warrior. But the thing is, when humans are in control of making the groups, nobody really wants an arms warrior. You know who really doesn't want an arms warrior? Any tank. Any tank, because it's somebody who's going to roll on shit that you need. So like, nobody invites an arms warrior themselves. Like, no one's going to choose to do that. No one really wants to bring a Ret Pally if they have another option, because again, it's tank gear. They're going to be competing. And it sucks. You know, it creates an environment where you can only do very specific things, and even then your chances of finding a group are slim. And if we had cross-realm LFD, you could play whatever class, whatever spec you want. We're not getting on that elevator. That's a dead body. Even this guy hesitated. He was waiting here. He still didn't get on that elevator. Yeah, I think the lack of LFD is one of those subtle but intentional ways of killing a game. Yeah, I think that they're basically killing Wrath, and that they've been at it for a long time. But the lack of LFD at this point is absolutely astounding. They're like, it ruined the community. No, you ruined the community. And also, Mythic 5-Man's ruined the community. And like, yeah, you already support a bunch of shit that ruins the community. Yeah, making it easier for people to do the content that they love, yeah, definitely ruins communities. You know, they think it ruined the community, but then in Modern WoW, you see them introduce shit like the solo shuffle, solo fucking arena queue. Oh, you think the LFD tool ruined the community, but you made a solo queue for arenas. That's kind of hypocritical, eh? Yeah, exactly, Auntie. When a person is making choices, they're going to make all those choices like, oh, we don't want similar armor types, we don't want similar weapon types. And they'll sit there and pick and choose. And so yeah, if you are a certain class, you're going to miss out on runs because no one's going to invite you. And it's the worst. Like, that fucking ruins games because that makes somebody stop playing a game, makes them go play something else. They'll go play League of Legends. They can just queue for a match and be done.
How will this benefit me?
Yeah, LFD balances everything out. It just balances everything out. People can queue as whatever spec they want. They can queue for the role they want. They don't have to worry about someone not inviting them to a group because of their spec or class. They don't have to worry about somebody asking them for their gear score or some shit like that. Like, it just makes it better. We're not set to Hearth anywhere useful, so we are going to have to go back out and catch the Zep again. But we can start looking for group. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'll copy something and spam. There's a guy looking. What is he? Well, let me do the thing that people do without LFD. Let me check what class he is. Here we go. He is a level 13 troll rogue, so I'm not gonna invite him to my group because I don't think he's a high enough level. But not because he's a rogue. I don't think a level, because firstly, like level 13, this dude probably doesn't have all the quests. I don't want to hear somebody bitching about how they don't have the quest the whole time we're doing the run. Is there a quest for this? Can we share it? Like, no, you gotta go get all the quests. So level 13 is too low. So I have to remember his name so that if he invites me, I don't accept it. Level 13 rogue. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that's gonna work. Doesn't seem like it's gonna work. Let's post. Alright, Elevator Boss Part 3. Yeah, I don't know about this whole grouping thing. I haven't seen anybody else looking. I haven't seen anybody else inviting. I just saw the one guy, and it's been radio silence besides that. No one seems to be looking for a group chat. Yeah, maybe they're using guild chats. I'm not in a guild. I don't know if that will make a difference. We could try to get an invite to one of the hardcore guilds. But that requires human beings to be online and playing the game, which might not be the case right now. The Ellis, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Have a good rest of your day. Start whispering people through /shoot. That's old school, man. I kind of remember like doing that back in the day. You'd find like classes that were tanks and stuff. You'd be like, hey, want to tank this? Hey, want to heal that? I hate doing that these days. I don't know. A part of me thinks it's just kind of rude. I have like weird social things. Like just randomly whispering a person to me seems weird. I feel like because they could probably see my spam. You know, I hit up unders, I hit up general, I hit up trade, I hit up group. Yeah, I mean we could do that. Like if I was a tank or a healer and I wanted to like just form up the entire group myself, then I probably would. Yeah, I don't know. You know, every time Asmongold puts out a video that has in the title the death of hardcore, then like we just get closer and closer to nobody playing this game type. people are logging into other versions of the game and doing other shit, which is fine. Maybe eventually we'll have to find other shit to do during this stream. I don't know. Everyone should sit in the LFG channel. I don't understand why they don't. I think maybe a lot of people don't even know about it. Like a lot of people don't even like. Even if I do a /who right now, like I don't even got a lot of choices of people here. There's 4 people here who would be at level. We're one of them. My add-on is blocking invites. I assume maybe someone whispered me and said my add-on is blocking invites. Perhaps. 1 second. I might have turned on auto decline invites. Yeah, let me check. I don't have an add-on doing that, I don't think. But someone just whispered me and they said your add-on is blocking invites, I assume. I don't think so, but maybe. Where would I even see that at? Social. Yeah, here we go. Block guild invites, block trades. I don't have anything blocking group invites. Any ideas on what would be blocking group invites? I don't know. Is it the hardcore add-on? I have no idea. Oh Jesus! Hey, more friction. That's what we need. Maybe something in the add-on is blocking group invites. I have no clue. I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem getting invited to a group before, so I don't. Check Leatrix. I mean, I would hope that Leatrix wouldn't just be blocking shit like that I didn't tell it to. Social. Automation. Yeah, nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing blocked. Block party invites. I just asked, I told the guy I have nothing blocked. I asked him what happens when he tries to invite me. So, yeah. If I can't get invited to groups, that's going to be a problem, obviously. Yeah, we're going to have a problem doing a dungeon if I literally can't get invited to a group. It says auto decline. When he invites me, it says auto decline. Guys, I don't know what's causing it. It's not Leatrix. It's not the hardcore. There's no in-game option that does it. Shit. What if I invite him? And then I could pass him lead. It could be bugged, and then what if I just make him leader? There we go. I was able to invite him. I'll do it. I'll invite him, I'll make him leader, and then I'll have to... Maybe I'll just uninstall Leatrix. I don't know. If it's going to cause problems, I don't want it. This is the part of the reason why I hate add-ons, and why for a long time I didn't use any add-ons at all. It's because now I have this issue where people try to invite me and it auto-declines, and I don't know why. Let's, I'm probably gonna... I'm gonna see if maybe I can log out and just deactivate Leatrix. I don't know. That's all I can think to do. I probably shouldn't do that on the Zep. What's the worst that can happen? Dropped in the middle of the ocean, dropped over a landmass until we go splat. That'd be cool to see. We looked in the options and it wasn't checked. The option wasn't checked. So I'm done with it. Goodbye, Leatrix. It was nice. It just didn't last. I'll check if there's an update later. It could just need an update. I'll drop and die. That'd be cool. It didn't happen, but it'd be cool if it did. I have to remember to repair myself now that it's not going to happen automatically. Hassan, is Hardcore live? This is Bloodsail Buccaneers server where people have been doing the Hardcore challenge. The official Hardcore servers are in fact not live, and in fact we do not have a date, but we speculate it's not going to happen until September. If it happens. If it happens, it'll happen in September. We don't have any information yet. I just realized the guy in the group's a level 11 priest, and now I want to like smash my head into the keyboard. I went through all this and I didn't even check his level. This is probably not going to happen today. It's probably not going to happen today. I'm gonna give it like, you know, if we get someone who's like a really high level, maybe this guy could heal. Okay, I'm gonna see if maybe we can test if I can even get invited now. I told Leatrix is disabled. I'm gonna see if he can invite me back. Yeah, the only thing at level 11, I don't think he can do the dungeon. I don't know. But then again, I might not have any choices. There might not be any choices. It could be that no one is playing hardcore today. It could be that. Yeah, this guy is telling me that it's still not letting him invite me. I don't know. Besides completely disabling Leatrix, I have no idea. I have no idea how to get anybody to be able to invite me. I guess we delete the character and we go again. It could be because, hey, yeah, Auntie, that maybe, I don't know though, because he should be able to invite me, right? Shouldn't he be able to invite me no matter what level he is? Like, he might not be able to do the dungeon run. He might not even be able to step into the dungeon. But damn, I think he should be able to invite me. No, this is not the PTR, this is Bloodsail Buccaneers. Is the PTR back up? I thought they'd taken the PTR down for an entire week. Like, let's take this back to 1 and let's just see if anybody is playing. Yeah, there are people playing, but damn, it doesn't feel like a lot. Now I need to find somebody else to try to invite me to a group so I can test this, or if I'm just getting one guide right now. And I think I'm gonna disable every other add-on that I have running. And it's about to become an add-on free run. Because, yeah, there's literally nothing in the game that should automatically stop me from being invited to a group. It doesn't make sense. Romain, no, we have zero news. Blizzard isn't going to tell us shit. It's going to be September, man. Like, September 20th is like the last day of summer. The servers are going to go live on like September 18th. Whatever the Tuesday is for the last week of summer, that's when we're going to get the hardcore servers, because that's as long as Blizzard can push it out. And right now they're pushing it out as long as they can so people stop playing hardcore. They're basically they're doing their best to kill the game type, because they think that'll get people to go back and play retail, or go back and play Wrath, or maybe go somewhere else. So yeah, they announced that they're going to do it like 3 months ago. And with the only objective that what it does is it stops people from playing on Bloodcell Buccaneers and Hydraxian Waterlords because of the time commitment needed for a hardcore character. Yeah, it is sad. It is sad, but they think that people will go play retail. If they don't play hardcore, they think people will go to retail. And in retail, they can sell them stuff like transmogs and mounts and shit like that. So it makes perfect sense for them to kill the game mode. You know, they kill it now, and then they get to do their own hardcore, so they'll get a little influx of players back for that, but in the meantime, they get to kill it dead. and it seems like they kind of have. Looking for tank and DPS for hardcore. I'm gonna message this guy and see if he can invite me, because I don't know. I gotta get a test here though. I gotta see what's going, because I was able to invite just fine. I have nothing else installed right now that should be stopping invites, unless the actual hardcore add-on itself is somehow stopping invites, which would be effed up. But maybe that's the case. I don't know. What else? I haven't heard back from him yet, so I guess maybe he probably couldn't invite me either. If I go to interface... Okay, so Leatrix is gone. There should be no way that's interacting with anything. Yeah, there's not exactly a lot of options here. Well, I'm going to update the add-ons that we still have, and then I'm going to relog, and then we'll kind of go from there. Alright, everything is up to date. Let's log out. Hey, afternoon, Alex. We're struggling right now. We're struggling to find out why people can't invite me to group. We've already checked settings in Leatrix. Nothing is checked there to stop any invites. And we just can't figure it out. So I was trying to do RFC, but if nobody can invite me to a group, then it's gonna get pretty stupid. That story add-on is like kind of like a different take on Immersion, where like, you know in Guild Wars 2 where the characters kind of stand and look at each other and the text is down here? It kind of makes the quest like that. I didn't really like it. Yeah, it took up the whole screen. I like just zooming in and seeing the characters if I want to see it, but yeah, it stands you here and the NPC here and you kind of face each other and the quest text plays out down at the bottom. It was okay, but I ultimately, I like Immersion better. Have I tried re-enabling the inbuilt social blocks you enabled? Yeah, but Steven, there's nothing in the in-game stuff that talks about parties. That's what doesn't make sense. It's like, yeah, I went to social here. Block trades I can turn off. Block guild invites maybe I can turn off. Maybe that's why I never get an invite to a hardcore guild. Oh, crap. Okay. But yeah, there's nothing here though for, what is this? Oh, that just turns it on. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything here that would be blocking anything. Uncheck this to hide individual loot role messages. No. Yeah, I mean... there we go. We've done everything we can. You know, we've disabled the add-on. That didn't seem to help. Now we've updated the add-on. I don't know if that'll help. We'll keep looking. And like the one guy who told me like, hey, I can't invite you. Like I don't know if everybody's gonna do that. They're just gonna try to invite me. They're not gonna be able to, and they're gonna move on. I can invite fine, but this one guy told me that he could not invite me, that he got like, it said automatically declined. I was able to invite him just fine. He was a level 11 priest, so like that group didn't really have a future in it for RFC. So yeah, but I seem to be able to invite people fine. So like I could look for more, you know, I could just say looking for more, but I don't want that level 11 priest. But maybe I could just start like inviting some people. Like, if I just invite this level 16 hunter, I'll just try to put this group together. I'll stop being absolutely fucking lazy, and we'll see if we can, he's already in a group. I go to invite him, guys, he already got snagged by a group. Boom, it happens that fast. Damn it. I hate having to put groups together in this game. I hate having to stand here and, like, basically do nothing as I struggle to find people to do a dungeon. That's probably, like, the worst part of the experience to me. Tesla, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here and for hanging out with us. That's awesome. Yeah, see, if I say looking for more RFC, I'm gonna get this level 11 priest. No, Dungeon Finder... Vic, I've only ever said Dungeon Finder was great for the game. Yeah. The people who say the Dungeon Finder is bad for the game, they're either stupid or they're just parroting somebody stupid or whatever, you know. They're either stupid or parroting somebody who's stupid. Looking for Dungeon Tool lets people do the content they want. Whereas, like, the normal interactions of the game are set up to stop you from doing what you want. So it eliminates friction for players, and that's always going to be good. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's only this level 11 priest, man. I can't take a level 11 priest into RFC and expect anything but to get killed, you know? Is it my level? The hardcore add-on restricts... No, we're just trying to get invited to a group. Guys, it's not about getting into the instance. It's about people not being able to invite. I can't get invited to a group is the problem. Yeah, I can't. This guy said he tried to invite me and it said automatically declined. But we don't have anything going on that would automatically decline groups. So maybe he was just one-guying me. I don't know why he would. But yeah, and I haven't been able to test it. I haven't had the opportunity for anybody else to try to invite me, to communicate with me and tell me whether or not it worked. So Alex, no. You're locked out at 50. Oh my god. I'm sorry, man. That's fucking painful. In Eastern Plaguelands. Not even in Western Plaguelands? Dude, the Plaguelands suck. I'm not going to the Plaguelands on the Paladin. I'm gonna figure something else out. Tyrion's quest to kill the slugs and bats and stuff? Man, yeah, see, I would do that one too and get killed, because in my mind I'd be like, this one's safe. But those bats, man, they like stun you and then you walk away from them. And then you'll walk into like another bat and then he'll stun you and you'll walk away from him. And then you'll walk into a Dark Hound and suddenly you got 2 bats and a Dark Hound on you. And then you get stunned again. Jesus Christ. That sucks, man. What a run, though. What a fucking run. Level 58. What a boss, man. That's awesome, though. You gotta think about it that way, because, like, yeah, 0.0001% of people get to level 58. Especially on a Warlock, which is, like, widely considered the worst hardcore class. It's quite a freaking accomplishment, you know? Go again. You can't go again, Amy, because we don't know when the start of the official hardcore servers are. You can't do it. No one wants to go again anymore. Thanks to Blizzard. Looking for more hardcore RFC. Here we go. Let's see if this dude can invite me or not. And if he can't invite me, he probably just won't say anything and he'll move on with his life. He'll be like, this idiot has something blocking me from inviting him. And he'll just move on. Yeah. Level 14 Troll Hunter. You click the dirt, then 4 to 5 dwarver. What? 4 to 5 dwarves? You have to kill one. Oh my god. How are you going to live long enough to kill one? Yeah, see, this is the second person I've said, hey, Warlock here if needed, and they have not invited me. Oh shit, I got the invite. Just bitch about it more. Hey, look at that. So there's no problem now. Apparently people can invite me. Everything's fine. Maybe we get to do the run. We're in a group with a Troll Hunter and a Troll Mage, both level 14. I'm concerned. Can anybody look at the names of the 2 trolls and highlight what I'm concerned about, though? What do you guys think I'm concerned about here if we look at these 2 names? They're either in a duo or this dude's multi-boxing, because they both have Jolt in the name. Yeah, they both have the word Jolt in the name, and that kind of worries me. Quip, good afternoon, man. Thanks for being here. Maybe, Alex, yeah, maybe the guy was trolling me. I wonder why he would, but yeah, he could have been. I thought maybe I'm getting one guide. The only way he could is if he knows, like, who I am and what I'm doing, which is, like, a very slim chance. You know what I mean? Because that would be the only enjoyment he would get out of it, would be able to watch me, like, struggle to figure out what's going on. So, like, level 11 Priest, if you're here, man, come on now. But I don't know. It could have been Leatrix. You know, we did disable Leatrix and then we updated it through CurseForge and we fired it back up. So yeah, it could have been an add-on. Just like, even though the add-on was disabled, it still could have been messing the game up. We got a level 14 warrior. Level 14s. Are we gonna be okay with this? I thought I was gonna be the lowest level in the group. You know, maybe it was the cheese wheel guy. Oh god, don't invoke him, man. John Halpin, good afternoon, man. Thanks for stopping by. Tactical, do I have the upgraded Pact of Blood for the Imp? You know I don't. But the good news is I think we're by the Warlock Trainer, maybe? Possibly? No, maybe not. Warlock Trainer, I don't know where you are. Apparently I'm not tracking my class trainer. Well, shit. Profession trainers. I'm just not with it today. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can grab it right up here. That's the good news. Yeah, I'm supposed to have the imp out, right? They want me to have the imp out. I don't really feel that safe with the imp out, but yeah, we'll see. I don't need that stuff. Warlock trainer, demon trainer. Here we go.
What can I help you with?
And so we're looking for. Well, we probably want Fireball rank 2, right? Let's grab that. Pact of Blood. I wish it would tell me if I already had the skill, and I don't know if it's doing that. Yeah, I don't know.
Farewell.
Let's get the imp out. Alex, you should keep it. Yeah, don't delete it. It's level 58 in hardcore, man. Just keep it. I would even say just finish leveling it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got as far as you got, but it's such an epic achievement, man. And you didn't get like level 40s fatigue the way I did. You just stuck with it and you got it done, and that's really fucking impressive. Our pet already knows Firebolt. Okay, great. It'll show you if you have it if the imp is out. Yeah, it would have been smart to summon him first, though. Why do I have a quest turn-in thing here? What is that? Oh, is this just telling me to go into the instance? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh god, we're looking for a healer now. This could take ages. Maybe I need to be somewhere where I can do some fishing. Yeah, maybe we go do that, because I don't think standing down here is going to be very, very beneficial to us. Yeah, Vic, we have to buy the books. And like hunters have like pet training they have to do for their pets, where they have to go to the pet trainer and train stuff, and then you can like cross-train different abilities by like catching different pets or something. It's like, yeah, the pet management is like much more complicated in Classic era than any other era. Yeah, our group is looking for a healer. Yeah, I feel like when we do the official hardcore servers, we're either going to have to be able to tank or heal. Because it's like, sometimes it's too hard to get into a group as a DPS when you can't fill one of those roles. Yeah, I feel like I'd be fine with it. It's like, to me, I'm either going to tank or heal, and they're both very, like, very important jobs, especially in hardcore. I can see why, like, a lot of people would not want to do that job, yeah. I can absolutely understand why, but I'm fine doing it. So yeah, I should probably have been a healer, but you know, here we are on the Warlock. Yeah, I'm super familiar with all of the classic 5-mans too. That's the other thing, is like I'm pretty familiar with them. Until we get past like Zul'Farrak, until we get into like Sunken Temple. Sunken Temple starts the dungeons that I just, they're too complicated for me to memorize the routes because my brain is very simple. So once we get into like Sunken Temple, BFD, Blackwing Lair, like those are the ones that I don't know the routes as well. I could still pull the rooms safely and stuff like that, I just don't know the routes. Yeah, the Shaman would be really good, you know, just to be able to take into the 5-mans as a healer. But I feel like if I did that, I'd have to spec Elemental, which if I do a Shaman, I'm going to be two-handed enhancement spec, because that's what I find most fun. And I'm sure for like, probably for RFC, we could probably still heal that even as enhancement spec. But then I feel like later on in the game, it probably wouldn't work as well. We have someone in chat putting together a Dead Mines group. I've never done Dead Mines on the Horde side. It's interesting that people like put in the effort to go do it though. It seems like it might be quite a bit of travel through like not so safe areas. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like. I feel like there would be a high chance of dying just on the way over to the dungeon. Tremendous, you want to play a prop paladin, but you can't taunt? Yeah, in classic era you can't. You can't taunt. I don't think that like prop paladins were taken very seriously by either Blizzard or the player base in classic era. I don't really know like what paladins were meant to do. Maybe they were good healers in classic era. I'm not sure about any of the endgame balancing. Oh yeah, Raphael, I'm not going to Dead Mines. There was a group I saw that was looking for it. I thought it was interesting that they would try to do that as a hardcore run. But I'm not going to try to do that. We're looking for a healer for Ragefire Chasm right now. Are we going to find a healer for Ragefire Chasm? I don't know, man. It doesn't seem very likely. Oh, this tank's about to get himself killed. Dude, don't die while you're in our group. Oh my god. This tank dies before we do this run. You better not die, somebody says, yeah. Please don't die while you're in this group. Please just chill. Go do some fishing. We'll plenty of opportunity to die in the dungeon. Correct, you'd heal in raids. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. When my buddy played a Blood Elf Pally, when they first came out, like he power leveled a Pally because his guild needed him to heal. And he hated healing, but he did it anyway. So I kind of figured like classic era they were probably wanted for like the same purpose. I think he wanted a tank on the character, but even in BC I don't think anybody wanted a Pally tank yet. I don't know. I have to set like a cutoff time, by which time I go do something else somewhere else. Even if we sit in the group, I have to decide what else we can do while we wait, because we could never find a healer. And I really don't want to sit here for hours not doing it. We've already been sitting here for an hour and 10 minutes. Not just sitting here, we've done a little bit of fishing. But besides that, we've mostly just been sitting here doing nothing. Which is not really what I like doing on a hardcore character. So yeah, we might have to go see about some questing. We could maybe even just fly over to the Barrens and grind on the Plane Striders for a while. That wouldn't be so bad. It's too bad that level 11 priest isn't around. Maybe we could let him try to heal. Joe, yeah, we're trying to do RFC. We've been looking for a healer for a while, and we've been looking for a group for an hour and 10 minutes. So it's not looking exactly promising, but we've taken steps to get closer to maybe doing RFC. Yeah. Right now I'm gonna fly to the Barrens and like maybe try to do a quest or two, because I really don't like sitting and waiting for a group to come together. Ah, Makis, the Paladin didn't die, and thank you for that reminder, because I need to pin a comment. Paladin is alive and well. There we go, and I will just pin that to the top. I have this emote thing in my way, so that's annoying. Yeah, I have this, like, in the chat, YouTube puts this little automatic emote comment thing right where I need to click to pin a comment. There we go. It had to scroll up for me to be able to do it. How stupid is that? Ugh. Okay, there we go. Comment is pinned. The Paladin is alive and getting rested XP. Yeah, Monica, I'm patient in the dungeon. I will be super patient. My impatience comes from like waiting to get the group together. Yeah, in the dungeon I'm fine because then I'm doing the content that I really want to do. But I have absolutely no patience for waiting an hour to put a 5-man together. That is not a use of my time that I agree with. You know, and I could have been more proactive about making sure we were in an area where we could at least do some grinding. So it's definitely on me, but the impatience is still real. Yeah, but once we're in there, it's fine. Yeah, it's part of a good hardcore mentality, but how many characters have I gotten killed? There are things I can, let's just say that there are things I can be super patient with, and then there are things that I have zero patience for. And it just kind of is what it is. I'm gonna go to the crossroads, and we're gonna kill some Planestriders. And we'll work on that for a while. We'll finish the quest. We can just grind on them. I don't need to do a bunch of questing, but I would like to at least be getting experience. Experience per hour is important to me. And I don't know. It seems like it may be really hard to find anybody willing to heal. If our tank doesn't get himself killed first, because this guy's been at 5% HP multiple times. Like, 3%. The dude's scaring us. Let's just put it that way. Like by the time we find a healer, we might need a tank, and that's gonna be another hour. You think we'll land at Crossroads and there'll be a healer in the group? Damn, that's optimistic, man. I hope that happens. I'm not optimistic like that. I just don't think there's a lot of people playing hardcore right now. That's all. Not compared to how there used to be. Because yeah, if there were, then it wouldn't be a problem. You feel like a big portion of players die before they get to, yeah, I'm sure they do, before they even get to RFC. But I think 20 is a big cutoff. Obviously 40 is another big cutoff. They're spamming in trade, yeah. They're spamming trade, and I don't really see them hitting up other channels. I'll hit up the Barrens here and see if I get any hits. Yeah, I'll hit up Barrens General a couple times while we're out here. Since people here are going to be more in that level range. And we'll see what, I'll try to help out, do my part to put the group together, and we'll see what we can get. I'm not going to take any of these other quests. We're just going to go fight some Planestriders. Yeah, Alex, I agree. Definitely, it seems like it did. A lot of things have been conspiring. A lot of things have been conspiring to kill this version of hardcore. Blizzard's announcement was one thing. This guy's gonna die. He's got 1% HP. I don't. Why is he doing this to us? I gotta say something this day. I gotta say something to him. Why are you doing this to us? Do you hate us? Do you want us to suffer? God. He was literally at 1% HP. Yeah. It like, what's he doing? He says that was actually a close one. Yeah, 1% is pretty close. Jesus. Is he dueling? He's in a duel for the death, yeah. He's trying to earn his ears. Or whatever the hell they are. Alex, done. I joined World/6. Never knew that was a channel. Does anybody else know it's a channel? Could you play WoW on a MacBook? You might be able to get classic WoW to run on a MacBook. I think like maybe you could get it to run. I don't know how much they support it these days. I feel like they did used to support like Mac versions of WoW like back in the day. I just don't know how common that is like currently. Vic, I think the ears are just like a trophy basically from what I understand it. It's just a trophy for your hardcore honorable dual kills. A lot of people say, yeah, they can play on their MacBooks. Well, that's cute. I'm sorry, my wife had some WoW-related questions. She's playing on the other rig behind me to my right. If you see me look away, take my headset partially off, and I'm talking on mute, I'm talking to my wife. Hey, Corey, we're trying to do RFC today, but we have this problem where like no one's playing the game. We can't find a healer. That's our, we have everything else we need, including a tank that keeps almost getting himself killed. But what we don't have is heals. And that's going to be what stops us. We are in the looking for group channel, Alex. Yeah, I got us into looking for group. We're in the /world now. I unmuted. It's a bad habit. It's okay, I didn't say anything important. I'm gonna give this like another half hour. I'm gonna give this another half hour, and that's gonna be all the time that I can give it. And then I'm gonna figure out something else to do. We've already given it an hour and 20 minutes. I probably should have summoned my Voidwalker back out, but it's fine. We could buy some more water too, would be helpful. We've got one group looking for a tank, and that's all they need, and we've got our group looking for a healer. How long before our tank jumps into that other group and leaves us without a tank or a healer? If he's smart, only a couple minutes until that happens. If he actually wants to do the run. Because that would be his best chance at doing it. Because somehow that other group, they must have started with a healer. Emery, thank you, man. We're doing pretty good today. I'm kind of sad that we're probably not going to be able to do this dungeon, but besides that, I'm doing good. The warrior will die before he gets a chance to change groups. Yeah, he could. He's been pretty risky. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe the healer flips over to our group. Yeah, I worry though that the healer is like maybe the person looking for the other group. He could abandon his own group, absolutely. Yep, something will happen soon, perhaps. I'm not finding anybody in the Barrens. I mean, to be fair, there aren't a lot of priests on. There are lots of shaman who have heal buttons, and there's a couple druids, but there really aren't a lot of priests. Corey, I'm not in a guild, no. I'm assuming one of these guys probably are, you know, so maybe not though. Yeah, I'm feeling that now, Vic. You think it'll be a common thing on the official servers too? Nobody wants to heal or tank. Yeah. Yep, it's a huge fucking problem. Yeah, great. Yay, we get to do dungeons more, except we still can't do them because nobody wants to heal or tank. Wow, what a surprise. Yeah, it kind of sucks, honestly. It's like, it's more of an argument for cross-realm automatic grouping in every single mode of this game. There are people out there who want to tank and want to heal. They're just not here right now. I don't know. I don't know what I guess I don't know what the solution is in hardcore, because in hardcore, like, yeah, people really don't want to do it. It's not even like they're slightly uncomfortable with it. They have the weight of the other characters' lives on their hands. I feel like we've only done a couple of hardcore dungeons, but it was never the ones that we did. I feel like we got groups for them pretty quickly. Now, granted, on the druid, I'm pretty sure I was tanking, so that took care of one role. But I don't remember having problems finding a healer. Night Raven, it's going well, except for the fact that we can't find a healer for RFC. So that's the sad part of the day. Everything else is good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll something with heal buttons, but what's gonna happen is this, like, we're gonna roll something with heal buttons, and we're not gonna be able to find tanks. Like, it's unavoidable. You got three roles. Three roles make up a group. There are two roles that nobody wants to do. Do the math. How many good groups are you gonna get into? When out of the three roles you can perform in a group, nobody wants to do two of them. I probably am gonna end up leveling a priest, and we're gonna be a shadow priest. But I'm gonna heal those dungeons, and people are just gonna have to accept the heals because they're not gonna get heals from anybody else. Let me get those weak shadow heals. Corbin, right now, the only place to play hardcore is either Bloodsail Buccaneers if you're in the States, or Hydraxian Waterlords server if you're in the EU. And we're using the hardcore add-on. The official Blizzard hardcore servers do not exist yet. And we don't have a date for when they will exist. Except that it will happen sometime in summer. So, like, any time between now and September 20th. We're guessing it's going to happen on, like, September 18th. I mean, Emery, I feel like in one regard though, like combat almost moves slower in Classic. You know what I mean? Like now I don't play a lot of like retail endgame, and I haven't healed anything in retail, so I guess I don't really know what it's like. But yeah, like I feel like though in Classic, like even damage comes at you a little bit slower. I think it just must feel very, very different. And maybe it's like maybe it's a tools thing. Maybe it's like in Classic, you probably don't have all the tools that you might have in retail. I feel like a lot of healing in Classic is spamming one button, like mainly just spamming the one good heal that you have, and maybe you have a quick heal. The only if you're a druid, then that would be a little different. But yeah, if you're just direct healing, I feel like you just pick your best heal and you fire it off when you need to. Healing in this game is incredibly boring to me. But and I think a lot of people end up feeling that way about healing in general. But I'll end up doing it if it helps us find groups. Wolfheart, I've been good, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. That's right, Ashley. Yeah, in retail now you're expected to do damage. That's right. Yeah. You have to be on the meters dealing damage. Like, yeah, absolutely. And like, I used to think like doing a little bit of damage as a holy paladin was kind of cool. Like the conceptually, like the idea of being like a melee healer is kind of cool. But yeah, I don't want to try to do damage and get on the meters while I'm keeping people alive. And that just makes less people want to heal. You know what I mean? Like, oh great, not only now do I have to heal and press my heal buttons, I have to figure out how to deal okay DPS to the boss while I'm doing that, because it's like worked into my class now. Yeah, it's like super unsatisfying. I don't know. It's just like there aren't a lot of people who want to fill those roles. There's so many reasons like that people have why they don't like being a tank or being a healer. I don't need to be out here with these guys. We can just run back this way. So it's like, this is where we're at, where we'll spend 2 hours looking for a group, and then even if we get a group, the run's gonna be like 30 minutes, you know? Two hours of looking for a 30-minute run. Unless somebody dies, yeah. Unless we die, or the warrior dies, or we die in the run 5 minutes in. But yeah, so far we spent a lot of time looking. Yeah, the Holy Trinity has problems, but like for compelling group gameplay, it's hard to just get rid of it. It's hard to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately in this kind of gameplay, someone is going to have to get hit by the enemies, but not everybody should be getting hit, and somebody's going to have to heal people. It has to happen, you know. It's like just what it is. Listen to this. The cool thing that LFD eventually did was, remember when they started rewarding people for filling in the roles that were needed? Like when there were not a lot of tanks, you could get a little bonus loot by being a tank. If there weren't a lot of healers queuing up, you can get some bonus loot from being a healer. Like, that was an incentive for people to maybe step into those roles who, you know, maybe they wouldn't be as willing to otherwise. Yeah, and I think, like, in a game like this, when you have to have people filling those roles, you do have to incentivize them somehow to do it these days. There has to be, like, they're working, in their mind, they're working harder and they have more stress than anybody else in the group. So, like, how do you compensate people for doing that? Yeah, retail, I think they still do, right? They have the little loot bag next to the role, and you can see, like, which ones are needed. Yeah, and sometimes, the funny thing is, sometimes DPS are needed in retail. I've seen the reward bag go to a DPS role, and I thought that's funny. But when you have a cross-realm pool of people, you have access to more people in the queue, then yeah, that can happen. Yep, I don't know. There's not a solution for it, unfortunately. And as time goes on, and as people leave the game, and maybe like younger people come in and take their place, like people are going to be less and less and less inclined to heal and tank, especially to heal, because at least tanking is like kind of cool. You get to charge in, you get to swing your weapon, everybody's hitting you. Like, you can see that's kind of cool gameplay. You know, I can see that a person would just like that. But when it comes to standing back and just clicking people and making their green bar move from the left to the right, it's hard to really say that can, like, really be exciting or fun gameplay for most people. Yeah, Vic, and I've played those games and I don't like them. Guild Wars 2, ESO, like, I bounced off those games because they had weak class fantasy. So when you lose the Holy Trinity, a lot of times what happens when you let people do whatever you want, like you equip whatever weapon, equip whatever armor, take whatever, it's like, for me, like, it loses the class fantasy aspect of an MMO, and then I don't get immersed, I don't get into my character. And unfortunately, like, I'm still a person who, like, I need to get into my character to really stick to the game, and like I like a stronger class fantasy, so I'm like kind of stuck. I'm stuck with the Holy Trinity, I think, because I enjoy like the more narrow class fantasies. We lost our tank, so you know, dude jump ship. This guy is over here. This Alliance rogue is running around, level 22. Did he wave at me? Was that him? He waved at me. Goku, look at the pinned comment up top, man. I know it's hard to see because, like, that's not where your eyes go when you come into a chat, but that's where YouTube puts it. The human paladin is alive, and we might be jumping on him in a little bit today. Like, honestly, like, I don't think this group is coming together. I don't even think our group leader is still just spamming for a healer. I don't even think he's noticed that the tank has left the group. Yeah, see, yeah, I don't think he noticed when the tank left, because the tank's gone. Wolfheart, what would I do if you hunted me down and you're undead? I'd laugh at you. And I'd be flattered at the effort you'd be willing to put in to do that, and then ultimately, though, you probably still wouldn't kill me. But yeah, I mean, if you want to waste your time that way, you feel free to. I don't really care. It would be a big old zero reaction out of me. Yeah. I'm not very fun to mess with because I'm not gonna have a big reaction. Yeah, they do need to incentivize reasons to play healers, and man, they should even just get more loot. Absolutely, you want to queue as a tank, or we're just going to give you a piece of loot at the end. You know, like, just for bad luck protection, you played this role that nobody wants to play. Here's a free blue. Enjoy. DPS, screw off. You can do a ton of runs a day. Like, there's no pressure for you. You get nothing. DPS, you get nothing. Yeah. I feel like they could do that, you know. The funny thing, if they did that, then you'd see a lack of DPS. If tanks and healers just got handed like a free blue at the end of every dungeon, especially in Classic era, you would then have a situation where like no one would DPS. You'd have a bunch of really, really bad tanks and a bunch of really, really bad healers though. Just give healers all the loot, yeah, so people will play. What I loved my Holy Paladin, and the reason why I healed for so long on it was because when plate dropped with intellect, there was no one else to get the loot. That was your loot. You got every piece of plate that dropped with intellect on it. That's what... Oh, the warrior came back! That's what stuck me on the Holy Pally for so long. Is I thought healing was boring, but I was decent at it. And what I liked was that like I didn't have to compete for gear. I got the Holy Plate. It was my gear. Yeah, we got a full group. They got a healer and the warrior came back. Maybe he just had to step out of the group for a minute. I don't know. That being said, we should go ahead and we'll catch a flight back. So this might actually happen. It took us 1 hour and 37 minutes to have a full group. So, there's that. I don't know how many players like have that kind of time. I mean, it's a Sunday, so that probably helps out a lot for most people. Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to do it. I have zero expectation of getting any loot because an RFC doesn't really drop a lot of loot. I think there's like only a couple blues that have a chance to drop off the one guy. Yeah, I've never seen RFC as a place where you were really ever gonna get gear. It'll be worth it to get the quest done. That'll be the nice part. Sven, the add-on for the world map is Leatrix Maps. Yeah, we have Leatrix Plus and we have Leatrix Maps.
Strength and honor. Go forth.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 quests for RFC. I think I have all of them. I have all of them that I'm gonna get because I have all of them that I know about. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're good. I kind of almost thought that there was one more. And if there is, it would have been part of a chain I didn't do. But I'm good. I'm good with the 5 that we have. There's gonna be someone in this group who like we're gonna get into the dungeon, and someone's gonna be like, are there quests to share? We can't share all of them. And someone's gonna be like, no, they're part of a chain. Like that's gonna happen to somebody. They're not gonna have all the quests, and they're gonna lament that the entire time we're in the run. People are afraid to play healer because they think people will be mad at them if they make a mistake. Yeah, like, the thing is, though, like, they're not wrong. Like, there are people out there, especially in hardcore, that will be more than willing to take it out on a healer or a tank if shit goes sideways. And so, yeah, it sucks they have to have that fear. The fear is not unfounded, you know? And some people, like, you'd think, like, yeah, it's just a game. Who cares if somebody types at you in all caps? But some people get really affected by stuff like that, regardless. Oh yeah, retail is a cesspit. Especially if you're talking about 5-man content. I will never do another 5-man dungeon in retail because Mythic Plus Keystones have warped the way people do 5-mans. Even when you're just trying to get a regular dungeon done to do a fucking quest, you have the tank that wants to pull 40 guys at once. He's the tank that he'll skip the 3 enemies because the guide he watched told him to skip that pull. And then he'll pull 50 guys anyway. And then when you can't keep up and there's too much damage going on and everybody dies, he like throws a tantrum. Because he's playing how you play Mythic Keystone plus 20. So why can't everybody keep up? Disregard it's a regular dungeon run. They have to do the regulars that way because they have to practice doing that because that's what they're going to have to do in Mythic. So they literally, like, every level of 5-mans is completely effed because of Mythic Plus. So yeah, I will never do another 5-man in retail. I'll do the 5-man Mythic dungeons because it's like a raid basically, but I'm never gonna do a Mythic Plus. In my opinion, it's a Mythic Plus that made the community ultimately. Like, we took a plunge over the edge of toxicity, and we're never coming back. Yeah, you know, and that kind of anxiety is like, it's why people play other games. It's why people don't play MMOs. It's why people don't play MMOs for like the group content. Because they could just go play another game that's like a multiplayer game, but that doesn't have that individual stress on the individual person to fulfill a certain role. You know? There are lots of multiplayer games people can go play without feeling like the success of the thing depends on like them healing somebody or them tanking all the enemies or them knowing the routes or them knowing the pulls. Like, there are just better games to play if you just want some multiplayer content. And I think that's where a lot of people go these days. Someone left the group. It was the damn tank. Oh, God. Jesus. Our tank is gone again. I fucking told you guys. I said if you get a healer, you're gonna need a tank. If you get a tank, you're gonna need a healer. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. Now we're looking for tank hardcore RFC. Yeah, we came all the way back. Of course we did. Why wouldn't we do that? Yeah, and it kind of makes sense that like I can't even hold it against the guy. He was in the group for almost an hour, you know what I mean? He was with us for almost an hour looking for a healer, so like I really can't blame him. Like, he's got a real life, you know? He's probably got to eat or do some chores, maybe he's got work. Who knows? But yeah, it's like, it's kind of a lot to expect that someone could, we can hang out for an hour and wait for the group, and then we gotta have 40 minutes to do the run. A lot of people don't have that kind of time. It's a real thing. Emre, I feel like I need to fucking nap after this stream. Yeah, this has been a pretty depressing experience, absolutely. Yeah, and it's like it's twofold. It isn't just like the difficulty of getting the dungeon together, it's all these other issues that we've talked about. It's about Blizzard killing hardcore on these realms. It's about the Holy Trinity sucking for most average players. It's about the lack of incentive to play roles that are very challenging and very important to the group. It's like the depression comes from like all these things, because I see all these things are things that like are hurting the game and have been hurting the game over time. It's why the game isn't growing anymore. It's why the game sheds playership, because people just go play another game. You know, people don't have a lot of tolerance for friction in their video games anymore. And there's so many options, so many different things they can go spend their time on. You think that, wait, the tank died? He died? Hold on. The tank died? Confirmed? Confirmed. Did you guys see his health bar go all the way down? Is that what happened? Is that why they were LOLing? Damn, I missed it. Oh yeah, laughing my fucking ass off. Yeah, he must have died. Yeah, he died. Oh, I love it. It's totally worth it. Yeah, it's totally been worth it to get to this point. Dude died, man. So much pain. Yeah, and I said it. I cursed him. I did fucking say it. God damn it. It was my fault too, wasn't it? It was his fault. That guy was down to 5% once, he was down to 3% another time. He was down at 1%, he was like, that was a close one. Well yeah, dummy. It's been all close ones for you this morning. Shit. It felt like the dude was trying to get him. If I kept dropping to 3% and 5%, you guys would think that I was trying to get killed. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that guy had a death wish. I feel like... Was he griefing the group? That's the new way to grief. Be a tank, stay in the group for an hour and a half, and then get yourself killed right as the group comes together. That's the new way to grief groups. Grief them before you even get into the dungeon. By just absolutely wasting everybody's time. That's it. Man, Alex, I'd rather that fucker died in the run at least. I don't know, because then I could have got to see him die. Yeah, I would have lived no matter what. We'd have gotten out. But man, I at least wish we could have seen him die. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess we fly back out to the crossroads and we begin the journey again. It might be a wrap for RFC. It might be, but you know, yeah. What are we at? We're almost 2 hours into the stream. We've fished. We've stood in the Cleft of Shadows, and we've killed some Plane Striders. We've gained about 3 bubbles of experience, and it's been a remarkably productive day by any means. Yeah. He died to Barak Kodobane. He was trying to do the fucking Centaur leaders while in a group for RFC at level 15. Yeah, the dude deserved to go, but I just wish he could have got us through RFC first. It happened right when I landed in Org. Red Robin, you're seeing a lot of anger against augmentation evokers, even though it's a misunderstanding of how the class works. Like, by that, do you mean that you're seeing a lot of negativity, like in groups or like on forums, or where exactly? And I'm not surprised because, yeah, you know, the problem is that like details and recount and stuff, like they don't really track a lot of what the augmentation evoker does. So it would be easy for ignorant people to be like, look, you're not doing anything. Supposedly the logs, the combat logs, are supposed to be able to give them a good parse, but here's the fucking problem with that is that it probably doesn't work. You know, the fact that people even log, the fact that people look at logs, upload logs, and use logs is so effing broken and antithetical to what a gameplay experience should be. Yeah. Yeah, it'll probably stop, like the reliance on Warcraft logs will probably stop us from having a support class in this game. Yeah. They'll do this one support class, it'll work or it won't, and we won't ever get Tinkers, we won't ever get Engineers, we won't ever get any other support classes because of the absolute unbridled reliance on bullshit parses in Warcraft logs as a measure of whether a player should be in your group. It's disgusting, so, yeah. It's disgusting and fucking stupid. Like, it used to be that, like, the achievement, you had some achievement for some bosses, look, you could probably do this run. And now it's like, yeah, you gotta have a certain color log. and if you don't have logs, and you don't have a certain level of logs, then you're not gonna get into a lot of groups. It's another layer of friction, it's another barrier of entry to make sure the player base shrinks and shrinks over time, until there's no one left who gives a shit about endgame. Yeah, a lot of people like the support class, though. It's a role that needs to exist in some way, because it's how some people fulfill their gameplay fantasy. And other games have those classes. Like FF14 literally has a bard, which is a thing that people like. It's a fantasy that people enjoy. So yeah, there are people who like. Some people don't care about class fantasy, but believe it or not, a lot of people who play MMORPGs actually really care about class fantasy. And most people who play MMORPGs are not people who look at, oh, what's the meta? What's got an A or an S ranking? I'm going to play that spec. And then when that spec's no good, I'm going to play another spec. Most MMORPG gamers are not like that, believe it or not. Most of us get into like the fantasy, the class fantasy, how the class feels, what the vibe is like, and we just want to play something that we like. That's how most of us are. You see a lot of complaints about low DPS and kicking augmentation. Yeah, then they don't clearly understand how the class works, which isn't a surprise. Yeah, they're gonna look at details, or they're gonna look at recount, whatever they're using. They're gonna say, this evoker, man, he's not doing anything. We're all doing really good though. Surprisingly, my numbers are as better as they've ever been. I've never done so well, but for some reason, this fucking augmentation evoker, man, he's not putting out any deeps. My deeps, they're through the roof. Why can't he be more like me? And then they kick the augmentation evoker. And what they don't notice after that is like all their numbers go down. Oh, so that's how it works. Okay, he was making us better. I got it now. But they don't get it. They never get to that point. Here we are again, back at the crossroads, the lovely crossroads. Let's go find some animals to kill. Steven, good afternoon, man. Thanks for being here. Fair warning, we've been looking for an RFC group for 1 hour and 52 minutes. Fair warning to anybody who's recently joining the stream. The title says RFC, but unfortunately I can't control the fact that there are not enough people of the right type of class with the desire to do this dungeon, so... Tremendous. The key depletes upon failure so that everybody in the group can hate the person in the group who they think caused the failure. Yeah, it's obviously just like it's a way to instantly create negativity among a group of 5 people. It's like they had to have a punishment for anybody effing up. Is that, you know, your key could get depleted. And hence is the whole problem of the toxicity. The whole problem with the toxicity exists because it's a time trial. You have to get through it in a certain amount of time. There's an apparent consequence if it doesn't go well, and it just adds into the toxicity of the game. Joe, so no RFC? I don't know. You tell me, man. You've been here for a bit. You've seen what's happened. I'm still in the group, you know. I haven't gone anywhere yet, but yeah. So far, no RFC, yeah. Patrick, good afternoon. Thanks for stopping by. Jacob, thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Thanks for checking out the stream. It's a different vibe than the recorded content, absolutely. And some people enjoy it, but some people don't, and I totally understand that. Yeah, I think the only way that Mythic 5-Mens could possibly be enjoyable is if you have a static group of people that you know and like. If you have a static group of people, you know them, you like them, you get along, you're just hanging out, having a good time. No one's going to actually get pissed off at anybody else. That's the way that Mythic Plus is enjoyed. And it's created to be enjoyed that way, but unfortunately a lot of people have to pug because they don't have those 4 other people static in their gaming life to group up with. And so they have to face the horrid underbelly of Mythic Dungeons, and that's like most people's experience. Like the people who have their static groups are like, they're very lucky. Because they probably get to like find some kind of enjoyment in that content. But for people who are trying to pug it, even if you're just pugging a couple spots, it's a shit show. Will we try RFC without a tank, Joe? No, we won't do that. I would just log out and delete the character before I did that, you know? There'd be no point. Yeah, the DPS men, they want you to, you're supposed to know all the routes. What, you didn't watch the video 500 times, Vic? You didn't watch that video 500 times and memorize the route? You haven't already done this 7,000 times? What's wrong with you? Why are you even playing this game? Right. That's the fucking mentality of people. And that's why over time, less and less people will play this game. Yeah, especially the harder they push like Mythic Plus, like as like the big mode of the game. You know, you see all the Mythic tournaments and stuff. The harder they push Mythic as like the way to play this game, the less people are gonna play this game. They need to focus on some other shit that's more accessible to human beings and not nearly as toxic. Yeah, you have to not only download the add-ons, you have to look up Preach's video on how to fucking configure them, because good luck, you have to download his little files to get them configured properly for your class, because you're not going to be able to do all that stuff yourself. Especially if you're someone trying to learn the game, you're not going to be able to do any of that shit yourself. You're going to have to not only get the add-ons, but you're going to have to follow the step-by-step guide on how to properly configure them. Two hours later, you can try to do a run wherein the DPS will kick you from the group immediately. Because you're not pulling fast enough, and you seem to not have done this a million times before. And shit, let's say you wanted to practice in a heroic run. Tough, they want you to pull the same way and do the same thing in the heroic run. If you don't know how to do that, you'll get kicked from that too, I bet. Because they want you to play it like it's Mythic still, no matter what version of the 5-man it is. Ivan, there should be no pain when it comes to having to install add-ons and stuff though to play a video. That's not part of the pleasure of the experience. Part of the pleasure of the experience is the difficulty of the content itself. Not the setup that you have to do before the content. Not the toxicity that comes when the content doesn't go well. Yeah. There's the feel of achievement comes from being able to complete content in the game. And the best way to do that should be to jump into the game, to learn the game, to figure it out, to level up, and then to do the content. And then, like, struggle with it, but achieve. But what really happens in WoW is that you get on, you try to learn your class, you level up. But that's not it. You have to look at a couple guides. You have to download a bunch of add-ons. You have to figure out how to use those. You have to deal with people's toxicity as you try to learn the content. Like, there isn't just, like, you know, suffering does not equal achievement. It doesn't. That's just wrong. You don't have to suffer that kind of shit to feel a sense of achievement at something. It should just be challenging but fun content. That's what people need to have. There needs to be content that's easily accessible to humans, but also presents them with a challenge appropriate to their skill levels. But that's not how WoW works. That's not how a lot of games work. Yeah, Peter, you said it exactly. Like, having to watch 20 guides for every dungeon is not. It should not be part of the challenge. That's my only point. Yeah, the dungeon should be hard. The content should be challenging. What's not a challenge is when, in order to do the content correctly, you have to watch 20 guides, install 10 add-ons, watch 20 guides for how to use those add-ons, and then you have to get kicked from a couple dozen groups first as you struggle to even execute upon what you've learned. Yeah, like, none of that, my only point is that none of that should be part of the challenge of succeeding in a video game. All that shit is nothing. You know, it's a bloat that got added over time as Blizzard didn't address certain things and as players changed the way they played the game. And as Blizzard then changed the game to accommodate the fact that people were doing those things. Now Blizzard builds their content with the idea that a person is going to have 20 add-ons running, with the idea that the average person is going to watch 20 guides first. That's how they now design the game. So now it's no longer that the content is challenging. The challenge is getting yourself to the point where you're even able to do the content without dealing with unbridled toxicity and getting kicked from groups over and fucking over again. That's the challenging part. Like, if you could get into the run and like learn the mechanics, the fucking game is easy. But the hard part is getting to a point where the community itself will accept you in most forms of content. And that's never, even once you struggle past that point, that's never going to be rewarding to anybody. Well, anymore, it's not just a problem in the community, it's just a problem with the game now. It's just a problem that the game has. And now that it's a problem that's like baked into the game, it's never going to change. We're never going to see WoW content that doesn't require you to have weak auras or DBM or any of that shit. They're never gonna design content that way again. Oh boy. Yep. So yeah, I think we could say that we're good here on our little RFC adventure. We went 2 hours and 1 minute. We didn't get a group together. It didn't happen. It did not happen. I'm gonna jump on the Paladin. Yep. Dustswallow Marsh. Why am I in Dustswallow Marsh? Oh, we trained here. Okay. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna change a couple things here. Edit the title. What level are we? 45? 40. Did we hit 46? We did hit 46. That's why we had the train. Alright. Yeah, there we go. We got a little bit of rested XP. It should be enough for today at least. The shoulders might have been a random drop. Yeah, we got them as a random drop. We were fighting somewhere in Tannerus, I think. It was near the end of the last time we played this character. We got these to drop. They're okay. The good thing is they're plate. We're slowly getting more and more plate. We still don't have a full set.
What can I do?
Let's see. Where do we want to go just to do some grinding? Maybe we go to Feralas.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Alright, we got a 5-minute flight to Feralas. I am going to go AFK really quick and take care of a couple things. I'll be back before this timer is up. But yeah, if you guys want to hang around for some Paladin stuff, that's awesome. If you need to go, you don't want to see the Paladin, I totally understand. And I thank you for being here. I'll be back momentarily. Yeah, I mean, I would probably do ZF if we'd have the same problem here, though, on the Paladins, that we're not going to find a group at level 45. There's nobody at level 45, and like with only being able to do the dungeons once, you're never going to find anybody. Yeah. Right, it's 115 there today. That sounds like not habitable by human life forms. Yeah, in Michigan here we've had a better time than the rest of the states. We're like, I think our high is going to be like 82 today. The highest in the 10-day forecast, the highest we're going to get is like 84. I feel guilty because I still fucking hate it here because it's still too cold, too hot for me. I don't like any kind of heat. It turns out I don't like any kind of heat. And my body starts to feel heat at about 78 degrees if there's sunshine. And I just have no tolerance for it. But I do try to like tell myself that I'm very lucky because I'm not in a part of the country that's 113 degrees. Yeah, we have AC, and we probably run it too much even for as mild as it's been. If it was 113 degrees, the electricity bill would be like $700 a month. Because it would have to run all the time, like constantly. It kind of does anyway. Yeah, tremendous. There's a huge problem with the fact that like players like nowadays, like they'll watch somebody who's like really fucking good at the game, like on a Mythic Plus run, or you know, it's in one of the tournaments, and then they see this person who's like, firstly, they're really, really good. Secondly, they're playing with other people who are really, really, really good. And then like the average player is somehow supposed to like try to attain that level of playing. And it's the prevalence at which you can watch those good people play now, because back in the day, you knew that there were people better than you, there were people worse than you, but you didn't have the same open outlets to literally watch those people play live. Like, there just weren't as many, you know, places you can go to see that content. But now it's like you're constantly bombarded by it. Yeah, and so you see all these people doing amazing things, and then you're just expected to be able to do that as an average player. How are we going to make the boat? Seamus, if you're enjoying it, I'm glad you're back. Yeah, some people want to play it just as solo game. I play mostly solo. I like to do group content occasionally, but as we've seen today, sometimes that's difficult to do. Even if you want to do it, you still are stuck playing solo. Bishop the Paladin's going okay. We were on the Warlock for the most part of the stream today, trying to get an RFC run together. The RFC run did not happen, so I got kind of frustrated and jumped over to the Paladin. But we just got on the Paladin a couple minutes ago. Thomas, good point, yeah. Every time I have to question it, I feel like we've made the boat, yeah. One day we're going to miss it. I remember the opening night of Wrath, I almost missed the boat, and I landed on like an outcropping of the boat, and somehow didn't fall off the boat, and we were able to transition into Northrend, and I didn't actually miss the boat. It was kind of an epic like leap off the dock moment and stick to the side of the boat. It was pretty fun. We could probably do the water elementals quest. I don't know.
Anywhere.
I don't know about zapping the giants.
Glad I could help.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, what do you
Let's see. We might as well
Be
try.
back.
Doesn't really matter. If we can't do it, we won't press, but we can find out. I think we're pretty resistant to water and ice magic, so these guys might not be a big threat. The giants we have to hit with an item, I thought, except I don't see the item. Feel for the zapping. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is the item. Alright, that one's already zapped. That's awesome, man. I'm always happy when people come back to the game and they actually enjoy it. You know, for the most part, the game's in a good spot right now. It's just that, like, I feel like the only bad thing right now is, like, the hardcore scene is dying. Like, so that's what's happening right now to hardcore. But every other mode of the game is okay. You know, there's obviously content that's, like, toxic in retail, but what I like in retail is I love leveling characters up. You know, it's like, it's fun. I've been thoroughly enjoying leveling up the Void Elf Warlock. It's been a blast to see Stranglethorn and some other zones. And even doing stuff in retail on my Shaman has been okay. I've been working through some of the story stuff from Embers that I didn't finish when 10.1 came out. Yeah, Tom, with probably the Paladin. Like, the Warlock's okay. The Warlock's okay. I find the Warlock kind of boring. I also, like, it's a class that I will eventually get killed, because what happens when I play on the Warlock is, like, because, like, I'm not being hit, like, my character's not being hit, I don't have, like, the same, like, reaction to danger. And I also kind of zone out when I'm on the Warlock, when I'm just fighting and fighting and fighting. I zone out because I'm not being hit. And yeah, it's okay. I prefer the Paladin, though. Ultimately, I will probably always prefer melee classes, or classes that can, like, I like the Priest because it's a caster that can stand, like, toe-to-toe with an enemy because you have Power Word Shield. Whereas, like, a mage has to try to keep an enemy at distance, and a Warlock has a pet to tank the enemy. The Priest gets to, like, tank the enemy with Power Word Shield, and I like that a little bit better. Oh, you're a level 49 Water Elemental. Oh, good. That's what we wanted to see. Yeah, I picked up the giant quest also, Alex, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a good pet person. Yeah, I don't control the pet well. That would probably eventually get me into trouble. It hasn't got us into trouble yet, but eventually it would. I'm not a pet class person, like, overall at all. That's probably, like, the biggest part is, like, yeah, the class is, like, what it is, like, you're putting, like, dots on people and then they're dying, and the pet is tanking them off in the distance safely, ideally, and it's fine. It seems like it could be a really efficient way to play, but as far as, like, what I enjoy more, I would rather go beat stuff in the face on the Paladin. MC, you're doing the no quest journey. That's ambitious, man. That is ambitious. I don't know that I could do that. That would be very hard for me to do. I don't know if I have the level of patience required. And I could probably muster that amount of patience, but it would probably be painful to me. Like, physically and emotionally painful. But that's awesome, though. I'm really impressed when people can do that challenge. I have a hard time making myself grind, like, at all. As you can tell, I'm like, hey, let's go do some grinding. And then I'm like, nah, let's do these quests that are way outside of our level. Instead of grinding. Yeah, Vic, absolutely. And I have a very bad habit of, like, just trying to do quests. This guy's level 40. Like, I'm not gonna do. Okay, I'm not gonna do the giants right now. Yeah, I won't. I'll work on the water elementals, but I'm not gonna work on the giants right now. Yeah, anything could go wrong with them. I don't want to take the risk. Let's just work on the water elementals for a bit. The drop rate here is really abysmal for these guys, I think. So it could be a while before we get what we need. Oh, you had to do the quest for the taming rod. Yeah, right, you have to do that one. I can't tell if that giant is coming at me. He looked like he was. I thought I'm running because I thought the giant was coming at us. Didn't he look determined to just run right up to us? I thought we had somehow aggroed him. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, we still got this guy. Maybe we don't have to drop him after all. Okay, cool. He's still willing to fight us. Tremendous, you think the Fury of Elune and Starfall look as cool as Soulfire? I'll have to check those out at some point. Are those both Druid spells? I think Starfall is. I'm not sure about Fury of Elune. I kind of do want to level a retail Druid at some point. It'll probably be the next character I do in retail to level up. Yeah, I'd like to try to do a caster one. The only thing I have to do to play a Druid caster is I have to look up how to get the equivalent of the glyph of Starform. I can't stand being a Moonkin. So I'd be fine to play a Druid in retail, like, and do a caster Druid, but I have to not look like a Moonkin, so I'm gonna have to sort that out. I have a feeling that a lot of the classes in retail are fun these days. That's kind of the feeling I get playing on the Warlock, because I'm like, I have a suspicion that most classes are fun to play. At least that they'll at least have a spec that is fun to play. And so that's why I'm kind of keen to level up the Warlock, get them to 70, and then continue another journey on another retail character. Because it seems like the classes are actually really fun. And I enjoy just leveling up in the old world as long as I can. It's cool with the changes they made to lighting and the changes they made to the view distance. So when you go into the Cataclysm zones now in retail, they look very different. The Cataclysm zones in retail now look very different. And they look so much better now that you can see so much further off into the distance. And even like the lighting itself looks like it is handled differently. The retail zone, the Cataclysm retail zones used to look kind of washed out. That's how I always thought of them. Like the lighting and stuff just felt washed out compared to the classic era. But after this lighting and draw distance change, the lighting in the classic era zones in retail looks really good. And it kind of makes it a joy to level through them. Yeah, I mostly like the new talents. You know what I don't like? I don't like the class talent tree. I love my destruction talent tree on the Warlock. I basically just don't like the class talent trees. I kind of wish the class talent trees could be that the 6 ones, like you do level 15, level 25, level 35. I kind of wish the class talent tree could be like that. And then the spec tree should be like the 55 or 60 point talents. Because yeah, I'm not a big fan. Every time I have to spend points in my Warlock tree, I'm just kind of like, eh. There have been a couple of them that have actually like increased the damage of some of our spells, and besides that, I haven't cared about any of them. But the spec trees are really good. I really love what they did with the spec trees. Yeah, it's the fog rework, right? It increased the draw distance, and it changed how the lighting looks. And yeah, it makes them look gorgeous. They're really good. Stranglethorn was beautiful. I'm in Arathi Highlands, and that looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the old world with the change that happened. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, they used to feel just completely washed out color-wise. It was weird. Tactical, I have not visited the Alterac Mountains probably in a couple levels, actually. I kind of gave up on that one a long time ago. I feel like if we were meant to get it, we would have got it one of the times I checked. And at this point, it's probably... I mean, it would probably be better than the weapon that we have, because the weapon that we have sucks. But yeah, no, I kind of gave up on that one. Blood Moon, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Thanks for being here. The water elementals are immune to my trinket. Yeah, they're immune to the cold basilisk eye. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think we're done here. Yeah. I think we're done here. Yeah, Edward, time to go back to Elwyn Forest for a bit. Yeah, just to feel good again. Well, damn. Yeah, here we are. Yeah. It's like... there's not a good, like, line between, like, you know, like, super boring and super risky. It's like, right now, it's either one or the other. It's like, we're either grinding on shit that doesn't matter, or we're doing stuff that's, like, really, really risky. And there just isn't a lot of in-between, unfortunately. We're probably not at a level where I want to go after the captains yet, although I feel like eventually I will want to go after the What is this about? Seek out the Witch Doctor, have him summon Mock. Yeah, maybe we can do that. Try it. It's getting very difficult on this character to feel like we can make any meaningful progress. That's what's starting to suck. Faldir's Cove in the Arathi Highlands. I feel like we've done everything we can in the Arathi Highlands. But maybe not. We could do Wand over Fist. For 1800 experience points. Or I could just go kill like 10 mobs at my level and double that. Yeah, Vic, we've done everything we can in Tannerus for right now. We never turned in Screecher Spirits. Yeah. We never turned in a lot of things, apparently. Oh, this is Root Theron Village. Oh. I've never seen these quests before in my life. That's an escort quest right there. Captain Steelgut in Faldir's Cove wants you to kill 10 Daggerspine Raiders. Well, that's very nice of him. How in the hell would I get into this cove? Is there a cave entrance over here somewhere? I see a cave entrance here, which is... I mean, I could swim, I guess? I don't know how I would handle this. Yeah, Alex, it is this one, right? We summon him, like some gorillas come at us, and then finally Mock comes at us. There's a flight point? There's a path. Why did I read flight point? There's a path to the right of the keep. Okay. So, like, right over here somewhere, maybe? Or is it further? We can go look. I don't know. I don't have a lot of good ideas at this level for what we can do. That's kind of why this character is stalled. We haven't exactly been making a lot of progress. Haven't really been making any progress. Yeah. That's a long ass flight too. Maybe I'll put that on the cards maybe for another time because I don't even know if I want to fly all the way up there. That's the problem. What do I have here? Return to Corporal Caleb. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we need to go do that. I'm gonna do those quests. I just don't know if I'm gonna do them today. But it's really cool to know about them. I've never done them before, and I've never even seen them, thought about them at all. So that's really cool. Wolfheart, it's not gonna be that easy to troll me. You won't get me to talk about the rest of XP add-on. I did all that talking about it, and I'm done with it. Damn, yeah. Like I said, I don't have big reactions, and I'll rant about something if I actually care about it. But typically, once I've gotten a rant off my chest, I don't typically like to launch into it again. I'm a guilty ranter. Like when I go on and on about something that I care about, I feel bad about it afterwards. I'm like, I should have just kept my mouth shut, and so I don't often like proceed on the same rant more than once or twice. Unless I feel like there's more to say about it. No, I don't remember any guys like that. I delete trolls from my memory banks every night. Like when I'm pretty sure someone was just like trolling me to get me to talk, I just delete them. It's pretty easy. Vic, I go on about all kinds of things, man. I go on about all kinds of things. Yeah, I like to go on about things that are video game related, like, and not like bullshit drama related, you know. And so there's lots of things that I don't mind talking about again and again. But when it comes to like stuff like that, like when it comes to just pure like clickbait drama, I'm a lot less inclined to talk about it multiple times. I feel like by like giving it attention too much, you're just kind of like playing into it. It's kind of what I said earlier about the whole drama with the dude who got his guild killed. Like the more people care about shit like that, and the more people click on stuff like that, it's just the more negative content you're gonna see on these platforms. You're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna wonder, why is there only negative WoW content? Why is it all so negative? It's all people dying and griefing. And what you're not gonna realize, it was your clicks that got the platforms there. And you're gonna ask, like, where'd all the honest content go? Well, all the honest content creators, they couldn't compete with the clicks of the people just making negative content. So they went away. They had to go do other things in life. But yeah, you know, that's what'll happen eventually. It's very obvious that kind of like content is, like, even though it's like obvious clickbait, just draws people to it. The stupidest stuff. If it's negative, if it's something bad that somebody did to somebody, like, it'll get more clicks than anything else. Yeah, I just don't even understand why that shit's interesting. So one idiot got a bunch of idiots killed. Like, who cares? Yeah, but people like to click on it. Yeah, hence why the news is miserable. Yeah, I don't watch the human news. Rarely, if I turn on the human news, I'll listen to Lester Holt do like the 2-minute intro to the nightly news. And by listening to him do the 2-minute intro, you know all the shit they're going to tell you for that day. Like, they're not going to tell you anything else. You don't need, you spare yourself like the gritty details they want to put in your face about it. Yeah, I don't really like human news. It's the same kind of shit. They pick shit that they think is going to get views. It's like they're not really trying to represent the world news that day. But they are just trying to get clicks, get views. Is there any other type of news? I don't know, like maybe. I say the human news because I think it's like the news that like people are supposed to care about in the real world, so I just call it the human news. There's the internet news, there's the WoW news. There's video game news, but then there's like the human news of the shit that like goes on the planet. So I refer to any of that as like human news. Carnell the Paladin's fine. The Paladin's getting to a point where making any progress feels basically impossible. But besides that, he's okay. Today in the human news, some people were terrible and other people died. Next up, more death and destruction reign across the planet. Oh, okay, good. And then they have like one happy story. In a small town in Pennsylvania, a young boy escaped certain doom and was reunited with his family. Oh, okay, good. Good for him. It's all dismal, but they do, like, they'll do one uplifting story. And it's just like the most random thing. It's like, okay, so cool, one good thing happened to one good person. Piss off. You can tell I'm getting bored when I start doing voices, yeah. That's me desperately trying to entertain myself. Yeah, they gotta hit you with all the negative shit, but then they feel like they need to like uplift you a little bit so you don't go kill yourself right away after the news.
What can I do for you? Light bless you.
A leather helmet. Hooray! There's quest here? Why am I seeing quest here that I'm not actually... Oh, okay, we've out-leveled them. We've out-leveled them, that's why. That's why we're not seeing them. Yeah, shiniest. I'm sure it's entertaining to lots of people. That's the problem. It's super entertaining to lots of people, and like for me, it's nothing. For me, it was a griefer who was bored, and he wanted to grief because he was a griefer, and the people he was raiding with were stupid because they were raiding with him, and it's not a big surprise that they all got killed. They knew he was a griefer. They knew his history, so. It could be different if like he hid his identity from them. I don't know. There's no way to make it interesting to me because it's just an asshole being an asshole to other people. And guess what? You're going to meet a lot of assholes in life. I don't find it particularly interesting. I can't grind on these cats. They're too low level. Looking for grinding spots in Stranglethorn Vale. Still after 30 hours, we're still looking for grind spots in Stranglethorn. It's pretty sad. I don't actually think we're going to find any. We're pretty high level. Did they appeal it? The thing is, they never needed to appeal it. There's no fucking real governing authority. It's a self-imposed challenge with a stupid add-on. They should have just said, oh, that guy was an asshole. We should have known that was going to happen. Let's kick him from the group, kick him from the raid, and let's just go again. There's no need to appeal it. Absolutely no need to appeal it. It's not fucking court sentence. It's not Congress. It's a self-imposed challenge in a video game. My point is that there doesn't need to be any drama. It was WoW characters that died in a raid. You kick the guy out. He's gone. You just go again. If you're really worried about this, if this is what you're worried about, yeah, you can appeal that later. Sure, if you really want this to say pass. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There's no drama. There's no drama there because nothing that happened has any stakes. You know what I mean? That's why all those people who were in the raid, like they were all in it too, and they benefited also from the dude's actions. From when it comes to like a publicity and clicks standpoint, they all benefited. Like, Asmund had the guild leader on his channel chatting with her or something. Like, everybody there benefited from what happened. And they benefited by, like, playing into the idea that it was dramatic what happened. But what happened was completely expected. You brought a guy into the raid who'd been a griefer for, like, his whole life. And he had a great opportunity to wipe your raid. You should have just laughed. Ah, dummy. Kicked him and then just came back in and finished the fight. But it's worth more clicks to make a drama around it and make it a big deal. And let it play out as a big deal throughout other parts of the community. The overreact meta. That's what I don't get, yeah. It's like people are like, hey, this happened, and I'm like, okay, so what? Who gives a shit? That's not a very like popular opinion to have about that stuff. People want you to have a big reaction to it. But there isn't really a big reaction to have, except it was a stupid person who got stupid people killed. And the reason that they're stupid is because they thought that there was like any drama about it. That's what makes them so stupid, is that they wouldn't just kick him and go again. That's kind of what leads me to believe that they all knew that they could benefit from what happened. Big Mike, I get why he did it too. There's nothing hard to understand about it, really. Even without hearing him talk. He was a griefer his whole life. When you're a griefer, what you get out of it is that you grief people. You just grief them because that's what you enjoy. It's how you get your kicks. You know what I mean? There's no explanation needed. It already makes perfect sense. And like, yeah, the chance for him to talk about it is just the chance for you to give him some more money. Give him some more clicks and some more popularity on the internet. Why would we want to listen to an idiot explain why he did something? Who cares? That's the part I don't get. And that's the reaction of people to like just mindlessly click into that stuff is what's going to make every single internet platform a cesspit in the next 5 years. It's going to be full of negativity. full of negative people purposely doing negative shit for other people's reactions. And it's not, and when you wake up in that world, it's not going to be a place you want to be, you know. But it's going to be a place that we self-created by our habits on the internet. Because the algorithm doesn't care if something's good or bad for humans. The algorithm cares about how popular a thing can be. And then once it realizes that some shit is popular, it'll push more and more of that content type to more and more people. And eventually it just kind of spirals, you know. Patrick, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here and hanging out. Yeah, that's why streamers act like they do. They know it's content for their channel to pretend like it mattered. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's why the only way I will ever react to that kind of shit is to say that it doesn't matter. That it didn't matter. That it means nothing. Because that's the truth of it. He claimed the people he grieved to. Yeah, that's cool. That sounds like just more shit to the made up story to make people click more and listen more. Like it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Like shit, we care so little when like a civilian center gets bombed by a fucking explosive dropped by country A on country B. Like we don't care. But like, we'll click on this dude griefing and telling his story. We'll click the shit out of that. Like, it makes one of the things actually mattered. The other thing doesn't matter at all. And the thing that doesn't matter at all, since it can be more dramatic, and it can be stretched out over time, and it can be reacted to by people on the internet, that comes to matter more. Mass Attack 82, thank you so much, man. That's super generous of you. Thank you. Here we go. We got some panthers that are green at least. Maybe we can kill something on this character today. Yeah, it can be pretty funny, but like the problem is like interacting with it at all. Interacting with it at all on any level like kind of just creates the problem. That's the shitty part. It's like it's fine to say that the thing you enjoy it innocently, but like you think a little bit farther than that and you realize like what happens to content creation when we go down this road. And it's not going to be a pretty place to be. Aaron, what can you do about an asshole griefing his guild? Why is the one more engaging than the other? No, you can't do anything in either scenario. You're happy you're not the people who got griefed. You're happy you're not the kid that got a bomb dropped on his apartment building. But we like to pay a lot more attention to the griefing because it's like we want it to be dramatic, but we don't want it to have any real life repercussions. We want our negativity as much of it as we can get, but we want it without like actual like repercussions, which is a little bit twisted when you think about it. I'm gonna turn off my camera for a minute. I'm gonna eat some food that my wife made me, and we're gonna keep killing these low level things here and see how that goes. In the meantime, chat, have at it. You have plenty of real life problems. Sometimes it's nice to watch a train wreck that doesn't have consequences. Here's another option. Just don't engage with that train wreck. Don't seek comfort from other people's misery, whether it's virtual or in real life. And instead, take that time to sort out some of your problems, would be what I would say. I would need pierogies and tater tots. The lunch of champions. Zaxter, yeah, they're both equally culpable because they're both fucking stupid. The people raiding with him were stupid, and he's stupid. And in that way, like I said, they're both in it. They're all in it together because they're all idiots. Yeah. Peter, Questie lets you see quest objectives on the map, like in a way that you wouldn't originally. Like, see how we can see the quest here, where to pick them up. It also shows you like where objectives are. We don't have any objectives right now, really, so it's not showing you a lot. But yeah, anytime you see any quest on the map, that's what Questie's doing. Otherwise, it'd be empty. You wouldn't see any of those markers. Yeah, Edward, I went years without using any add-ons. Finally, like in Season of Mastery, when we got to like level 58, people convinced me to try Questie, to find quests that I didn't know about, and I've just been using it. Yeah, every once in a while, you know, I hate add-ons, but yeah, Questie, I just use it now because the alternative is exactly what you said. The alternative is the fact that like I know where most of the quests are, but every once in a while I don't. And so for me, like, you know, it's not like I'm really discovering a lot on my own anyway. I know where most of them are, so it just lets my brain work a little bit less hard, which is fine at this point after playing the game for 20 years, I feel like. Yeah, it took me years into Classic until Season of Mastery before I used any add-ons. Like all of the runs were add-on free, and it wasn't challenging because, like I said, I was so familiar with most of the quests that it was never really a challenge, in Classic at least, for me to play without Questie. And back in the day, I used 0 add-ons, you know. The first add-on I ever installed was I installed DBM because the guild required me to have it to raid, and that was fine. But yeah, not really a big add-on person, but these days it doesn't really matter much. Apparently I'm in a part of Stranglethorn that's simply uninhabited by enemies. Let's go out to the beach and like maybe we'll fight some pirates or something. I don't know. What are my thoughts on the Northrend and Outland zones compared to the classic zones? I mean, I like the Outland zones and the Northrend zones. Yeah, I mean, I don't really compare them necessarily. Obviously, like the questing is more compact in Outland and in Northrend. Basically, you have more quests to do per square inch of the map, which is nice. I feel like both Outland and Northrend still feel like decently sized journeys. Yeah, what I realized though, that by the time we get to Cataclysm, you level through Cataclysm, right? And like originally in Cataclysm, like it's not like time walking now. You can only level up to 60 in Cataclysm zones. And then happens where you have to then go to Outland. And that began like the journey in WoW where like after Cataclysm, like you'd level up a new character. You'd start in the present day in Cataclysm, and then you'd have to go to Outland, which was technically back in time, and then you'd have to do Northrend, which was still back in time, and that shit was always like kind of a dumb experience. But the zones themselves are fine. It's just that a Cataclysm kind of screwed the pooch on any kind of continuity of a character leveling through the game. You can no longer have continuity. They should have done something where, like, after Cataclysm, you could just reach max level staying in the old world, and they should have made it a way to not have to go through the Outland and Northrend content at that point if you didn't want to. Because I remember it just feeling really jarring and strange. Especially as someone who played through those zones, like, from vanilla content into Outland, into Northrend, to then level a character in Cataclysm, and go from the Cataclysm rework into Outland, into Northrend, and then back to Azeroth for the actual Cataclysm leveling zones was always very weird. Well, we came to this beach to kill pirates, and it's a rainy day, so all the pirates have apparently just gone indoors for the day. Yeah, they're not coming out to play. Very strange. I like the idea of a retail refresh. I hope they do something like that someday, but they probably won't. Yeah, I really wish they would stop pushing new players into the Battle for Azeroth content. I feel like that's the worst way for someone coming into the game to experience the game. And even just getting from Exile's Reach into the Battle for Azeroth content and like getting going, like actually getting going, pressing the buttons and playing the game takes such a long time, and it's like there's so many things you can click on and do as a new player that can stop that journey completely and never explain to you how to get back on track. You want to let people do Exile's Reach, that's fine. Let them do Exile's Reach and then pop them in their starting zones. Especially now that we've got the view distance increase and the lighting changes in those old zones, they actually look really good. And so yeah, I think like let new players experience World of Warcraft on a zone by zone basis. And even kind of explain to new players, say, hey, you got a 1 to 60 journey here. You can level up anywhere in the old world. We're going to start you here. You got 2 continents. You can level up in any zone you want. And then explain to people that like the stories they're going to encounter are smaller stories, and they're going to be stories about the zone. You know, we're not trying to push you through some big BFAA plot about Jaina and some weird looking trolls that you don't know about. Like, no one cares about that. Let people go through those zones and like have those zone stories, because that's what World of Warcraft is about. It's about what's going on in the zone, what's the story of the zone, who are the key players in the zone, who are the good guys in the zone, who are the bad guys in the zone. And like in the old world, stories are told zone by zone. And for a new player who's only going to complete like 5 or 6 zones until they hit Dragonflight, that's the content they should see. They should see those zone by zone stories play out. They should get the pick after the starting area. They can fly off into the world at level 30 and go anywhere they want. And that should be the experience, because it's much better than being forced into a BFA experience in a narrative that's never going to go anywhere, never going to be complete, and then Jaina and those, you're never going to see those people again if you're a new player. Much better for them to go to their race's starting area and then be able to pick anywhere in the Eastern Kingdoms or in Durotar, or in Kalimdor rather, to quest out of, because the stories are about the zone. You know, you're going to get the zone stories that you get. And on the next character, you can go to some other zones and get those stories too. And to me, that would be like the best way for a new player to actually experience the game. Yeah, it's an awful experience to choose wherever you can level, because it's not framed correctly. It isn't framed correctly. That's all. And yeah, it's too much content for a new player to choose from. That's why I said I think new players should be locked to Eastern Kingdoms and Durotar. And then they need a tutorial phase that explains to them, hey, this is level scaling. You can take yourself to any of these zones that you want. Each zone contains a cool story with unique characters in the zone and unique enemies to fight. And it just needs a tutorial phase that kind of breaks out your decision making. And maybe even like a command map where you say, oh, I want a quest in Tirisfal Glades, and then you get that quest, then you have easy transport there. You know, just I think that would be better if it were framed correctly and handled correctly by the game. Raphael, that's not bad either. Like if you just did 1 to 70 in Dragonflight, yeah. Like if they want to push, if they absolutely have to put people in the new content, then just put them in the newest content. Don't make people go back and play BFA. Like literally, if all they care about is the polygon count and like how many pixels people are seeing on the screen, then yeah, absolutely, just put people right in Dragonflight. Fuck it, let them level 1 to 70 in Dragonflight content. Yep, that's the other way to go. But I think like the chromie time is kind of scuffed for a new player because it's hard to understand. I think that shoving people into BFA is the worst fucking idea ever. The worst idea would be shoving people into Shadowlands, so at least they didn't do that. Yeah, chromie time is great for like experienced players who know what the hell is going on, who want to see those stories again, because existing players understand that like we're gonna play through those zones to level, but we're not gonna see the stories of the expansion. It's not gonna happen. But a new player might have the expectation that if they play Legion, they're gonna see the Legion story. You're not. You're gonna see like a third of the Legion story, and then you're gonna be teleported to Dragonflight content. That's gonna be it. Thomas, have a good rest of your day, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you being here. Whitney, can you make Lightforged Draenei Death Knights now? Is that a thing that can happen? That's great. Yeah, I mean it's like Lightforged Draenei Warlocks too, right? I feel like Draenei Warlocks, like in general, are weird just because of the history with the history they've had with demons. But you know, I'm always a fan of like more player choice though. Even when stuff gets weird. In retail, I'm always a fan of like more player choice. Just because like what else is there if not the customization of your character and stuff like that. Exiles reach to Dragonflight, yeah. You know, like I like the old world stuff. I feel like that's a better place for people to learn like what WoW is about. But to be fair, WoW's not really about that anymore. Now WoW does try to be about its A plots and B plots and in its narrative design to some extent. So yeah, I think like because since they're not going to do it my way ever, I think like the next best solution is to just push people right into the new expansion. Have them do Exile's Reach, have them get that to 10 or 20 or whatever level you want them to get to in that scenario, and then just put them in Dragonflight. Give them an experience boost to make sure that they're going to be able to get to 70 by completing the campaign, and just be done with it. And then you can be assured that the new players are seeing the newest, prettiest content, and that they never really find out what WoW used to be about. And if they want to find out what WoW used to be about, well, I guess they can go play Classic. Yeah, Auntie, it's not about the world in the same way that it was. I used to ask my friend, like, when I first started playing, I'm like, what's the story of the game? You know, what's the story of the game? And he said it to me. He said that the story of the game is what happens in each zone. The zones are the characters. The zones are the main characters of the game. It's like the story happening in each zone is the story of World of Warcraft. You know, then there were other things happening at Endgame and stuff, you know, with, like, Onyxia and other things. But for the most part, the main characters of Vanilla WoW were each individual zone, and the stuff that you would find there, the people that you'd quest for, the enemies that you fight, they each had their own story. And it's not like that anymore, you know. Now there's a defined A plot and B plot, and if you don't like the A plot and you don't like the B plot, well, you have the world still, but it's still so focused around those plots that there's no other content for you to enjoy story-wise. Lael, you missed most of the stream, but you didn't miss much, man. It has been a day. We spent 2 hours trying to get a group for Ragefire Chasm, only to have the tank die when the group had formed up. The group was formed up, we're good to go, we're all going to Orgrimmar, except for the tank, who got himself killed. After looking for a group for 2 hours, we were looking for a healer for like 2 hours, and the tank got himself killed. And we didn't get to do the run. And so I got frustrated and jumped on the Paladin. We tried to do some questing in Feralas, almost died, had to use Lay on Hands, hence the 22-minute cooldown. And then I came here just to kill some pirates, because I hate the idea that we're going to get a pirate expansion one day, so I want to kill as many fucking pirates as I can right now. Alex, that's a good question. I popped that box open on a couple of my characters, but I never logged them in to like actually check out the gear. It's probably going to be a lot better than whatever they were wearing. Yeah, I did do that on a couple characters, and I never logged in to check them out. We're getting a pirate expansion? There's like a lot of like people thinking that we're gonna have a pirate expansion in the next expansion. It was some kind of pirate theme. Taliesin had a video about it, and Taliesin's been right about like every fucking expansion that he's predicted to some degree or another. So like, yeah, we might get like a pirate-esque expansion, and I hate pirates. Yeah, WoW Sea of Thieves. Yeah, it's like, okay, great. Because people think that we're going to explore like the other side of Azeroth and stuff, and like that's how they're going to work in ships, and like maybe we'll get like a cool ship mechanic. I don't really care about ships, and I really hate pirates, but you know, maybe some people would like it. Vic, what don't I like about pirates? I don't like that after Johnny Depp in the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean movie, that everything about pirates is just like that. You look at even Sea of Thieves and how the characters are articulated. It's the same. It's the same shit. It's like there's no original like takes on it. It's Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, and then you slap whatever IP you want over top of that, and it's gonna be the same shit. It's so contrived and boring. So boring, especially for a fantasy setting. It's like the most boring fucking thing you could do. I feel like BFA was nautical enough with yeah, with the Cult Tyrans. I feel like we had enough, you know. I had enough. Yeah, I had enough nautical stuff with the Cult Tyrans and BFA. How were pirates portrayed before, Vic? I don't know and we'll never know. All we know for sure is that they're all portrayed like that now. Yeah. You'd have to go back and watch some like old-timey stuff or like read some fantasy novels maybe to know. But once that was popular, it made sense just to model pirates off of that anytime pirates were handled in any intellectual property ever. The problem is that nobody took any chances or did anything different after that, you know. And yeah, I'm not really keen for World of Warcraft Pirates of the Caribbean. Will there be a Kraken? I don't know. We'll see. What about a zombie ghost ship? We need one of those. Yeah, and like the way like Blizzard develops, they probably have a couple of different expansions like in the works. They often work on like multiple concepts at the same time, and then it's kind of like a matter of deciding which one comes first. Like in a different reality, we could have got Wrath of the Lich King before we got Burning Crusade, because they were working on them both kind of in tandem. Obviously, if we had gotten Wrath first, Wrath wouldn't have been the game that it ended up being. It would have been a different Wrath. You know, in Burning Crusade coming after, it would have been Burning Crusade but different. But yeah, you know, there's a timeline that exists out there where like we get WoW expansions in a different order because a lot of times they're being developed simultaneously. And then it's a matter of like deciding like which one do we want to put out first, which one is going to resonate most right now, and then they push one faster forward than the other and like kind of shift development teams, you know. So yeah, there's probably a pirate expansion in the works. There's probably the Light is Evil and has come to kill everybody expansion in the works. They probably have at least two like conceptual thoughts for like what the next expansion would be about. And so we'll get them both, but we'll get them in a certain order. We'll probably get pirates before we get the Light is coming to destroy everybody. Because like after Shadowlands, I don't think any player wants like the big existential crisis like to happen and come threaten the entire universe again yet. I don't think they're like quite ready for that. So now we have dragons, and like then next we'll have pirates, and then after that we'll have like a big shitstorm of the Light invading Azeroth or something. Vic lore-wise, I don't know either why they used Naxxramas twice, obviously because it was super easy to do and thematic for Wrath of the Lich King, but like as far as like the story of why those same bosses were still there, I also have no idea. To me, it was always obviously just an obvious content reuse. Edward says, less cosmic threats, please. Yeah. Yeah, like, cosmic threats can be fine as long as they're not, like, super revealed and in your face about exactly what's happening. Cosmic threats are most interesting when it's a mystery. When you don't know all of the working parts, when you haven't opened up the clock and seen all the gears, that's when like cosmic threats are more impactful. And WoW doesn't know how to be subtle with any of its storytelling. So yeah, we know that's not going to be the way that goes. Ogre playable race? Probably won't ever happen, but maybe. With the most recent time manipulation stuff going on, there's a fear of multiverse for a while after Dragonflight. Yeah, no, fuck Marvel and the multiverse. It's obviously where they drew all their inspiration from in the new content. That's what kind of sucks about it. It's obviously like a poor representation of like the What If Marvel series. It's like, it's shit that like could be cool and could be good if there were real writers on the team and real storytellers on the team. Then the content could be really, really interesting. But there's not, and it's not. So it's just a mediocre piece of content. Yeah. Murloc playable race. Yeah, I think it's time for a Murloc playable race. Absolutely. We have Volpera for some reason. So like I don't see why we wouldn't have Murlocs. I would be 100% more likely to play a Murloc, but I don't even have Volpera unlocked, so. Yeah, superb world building, shitty storytelling. Absolutely. Yeah, they don't know how to tell. I don't think any of them read books, you know what I mean? The way you learn how to be a good storyteller is like, you have to fucking read books. And if you don't read a lot of books, you're gonna be a shit storyteller. Because if you're not reading books, you're ingesting your story from TV and movies. And historically, TV and movies have shit stories. And so if you're comparing your story in a video game to like a TV story or a movie story, then you're doing it wrong. Because you should be comparing your shit to like Brandon Sanderson or Robert Jordan or like anybody who actually writes fantasy stories. But they don't do that. WoW doesn't have like story writers. They have story designers, they have story leads. They have people that write, they have real writers that write their fan fiction books. But they don't have those people do any writing for the game for some reason. They have actual fucking writers like Christie Golden who are decent. They're pretty decent fantasy writers. But for some reason, they don't write any of the in-game shit. But they have basically like game designers writing the quests and writing the stories. They don't have a writing team. They don't want to pay someone just to be a writer, basically. You can write quests for World of Warcraft, but you have to be like a game designer or a programmer, and you have to have another fucking skill, because they're not going to pay you just to write. They're not going to pay you just to come up with story. They don't see that as valuable. Whereas you look at a game like ESO, and every side story in that game is absolutely amazing. And there's so much content, and it's all good. The gameplay elements of it, not fun for me, but like the stories are amazing because they have actual writers. Same thing with Final Fantasy XIV. They have actual employed story writers and creative leads and creative developers. They have the whole team. WoW doesn't. Oh, tremendous! I hope they start using ChatGPT to write their quest. It would be so much better. Yeah, because like ChatGPT can come up with some really well written stuff. And like the best thing that could happen to most WoW quests is if ChatGPT wrote them. Like they could input the ideas and the actors and the scenario and let ChatGPT write the fucking quests. Because it's gonna be better, honestly. Vic, the WoW books are okay. Some of them are better than others. Like, I listen to them as audiobooks when I ever engage with them. You know, I just, like, if I have idle time, I've listened to them on Audible. I've listened to the Arthas one. It was okay. But I read real fantasy books, so it's like, it's hard for me to talk about it because, like, yeah, it's obviously not going to be anything compared to any Brandon Sanderson book. It's going to be shit, right? But it's not supposed to be that good, so, like, for fan fiction, which is, they're basically fan fiction, you know, some of them are pretty good. The one with Jaina and where it described what happened at Theramore and the mana bomb going off, that one was okay. Arthas' story was okay. And there was one more that I listened to, I can't remember which one it was, but they were all like pretty mediocre. Easy just to listen to and like kill some time, like, but not great by any stretch, but they're not terrible. it might not make the game make any more sense. So you'll get bits and pieces of story, but it might be hard for you to like kind of interpret how they fit into World of Warcraft. And also like some of those books are quite old, and so a lot of the like context around them has changed over time, like in the game. It's like I don't even know how many of them are still actually considered canon. The recent ones are, like, if you read some of the recent ones, like Before the Storm and books like that were anything written like Legion and forward, like probably books that came out at that time are still pretty safe and pretty like solid canon, but anything before that I feel like might not even be canon anymore. With all the retconning and changes they've done over time. Oh yeah, I was muted. Layla, I was talking about. I did see your comments about Jim Butcher. I read the first Dresden book way back in the day after seeing the TV show that they released about it on the Sci-Fi Channel. Horribly, I was like, oh, it's books. The books will probably be better, and the book was better. I just like it fell off my radar after a while. But I did like the first book, and I liked the character was really relatable, and it had like a writing style that was really easy to read and like consume. But yeah, he fell off my radar like a long time ago. I've gone through some periods in my life where I haven't had time to read, and like that's happened to me a couple of times where like I'll have years where I read a lot, and then I'll have years where I haven't had the time or inclination. The TV show was terrible. The TV show was terrible, but I liked the actor who played him. I liked that guy. I was like, I like this guy. And so like that kind of compelled me to like check out the books. I checked out one of his fantasy series too, because I was always more of like a fantasy reader, and that was more of like a paranormal mystery thing. So I checked out one of Jim Butcher's fantasy series too, like a book one way back in the day. I can't remember anything about it. I remember liking it, but again, it was one of those things where like I probably got to a time in life where I like didn't read as much, and he fell off my radar completely. Wolfheart Arthas was right to purge Stratholme, absolutely. He made the best choice that he could. Yeah, and like the thing about it that's kind of fucked up is like you'd think like veterans like Uther, who have supposedly seen some shit in their life, would understand what he was doing and why. It's a pretty easy concept, okay? You have a population of people They have a super spreadable mutant fucking plague that turns them into killing machines. You think you have a chance to stop it from spreading, so you torch the place. Like, yeah, it's not a good choice. There were no good choices. What was the other choice? To do nothing? You know, yeah, like, so he made an impossible choice. It was never going to end well. And because because the adults in his life abandoned him, like, Jaina and Uther, both people who should have had more experience with reality, like, they didn't, like, no one backed him up. It was completely unrealistic. It was the only part of War 3 that I was like, wait, what? They're just like, we can't support you in this, Arthas. Arthas, I can't believe you would ever do this. But do you see the zombies coming out of the houses? Have you guys been here? Yeah. Yeah, Arthas did what he could. It wasn't the right choice, but there wasn't a right choice. He was effed. Because if he had done nothing, they wouldn't have supported him. He's like, you know what, guys? This plague's breaking out. I guess we just let these people go about their lives until they turn into ravenous flesh-eating zombies and kill everything in sight. Yeah. Like, there obviously wasn't a good way to go. But at the same time, like, Arthas was an immature dickhead. And because he was an immature dickhead and he didn't have any, like, emotional or mental support in his life, that's why he became the Lich King. Because he was already very immature as a human. And then he didn't have the guidance of, like, people around him to stop him from being a complete dickwad. Yeah. Blizzard says, if you agree with Arthas, you're a psychopath. Yeah, no, I fucking do need mental health. Absolutely. Am I a psychopath? I don't think so. Me, personally, I would not be able to do what Arthas did. But I wouldn't sit there and tell someone who did it that they're a fucking evil person because that was all they could see to do, you know? It's not like Uther had other options. Uther wasn't like, Arthas, wait, we could do this instead. There was nothing else on the table. And then the people who were supposed to help him, they just took off. They're like, oh yeah, while you're dealing with this zombie thing making a choice we think is horrible, we're gonna peace out. That's a bad writing thing though. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it's a bad writing thing. Yeah, that's what happens when you have 20-year-olds trying to write characters who were supposed to be like 55-year-old war veterans. You know what I mean? Like, they can't do it conceptually because they've had no life experiences. Because they're white 20-year-olds living in California, and they're writing people who are like grizzled war veterans. They clearly aren't going to write them correctly or realistically. So it was just a bad. Yeah, same as they were being quarantined, kind of, but they kept erupting out of their houses as zombies. Like, yeah, like, let's quarantine them. They're all gonna turn. They erupt out of their homes. They flee into the countryside. They kill farmers and villagers. They turn. It was gonna be cumulative. It was gonna be cumulative. And that's what he saw. You know, he saw one chance to save the entire fucking country, and it was like, we have to take out this population of people. If it had been written and handled by better writers, it probably would have made more sense to most people. For the writing thing, you blame Metzen? Yeah. I mean, I feel like Metzen was like a good like world builder, but they've never had anybody who was a good story writer. It's a huge loss. Build the wall. Yeah, we could build the wall. It didn't work out for Trump, but they could have tried. You know. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Zaxter, I couldn't do those things that he did, but again, like, I'm not a fucking war veteran trained as a paladin, so I don't know. I can't even kill bugs in my house. I have to let them outside. So I don't feel like it's my place, you know. But I can definitely see that, like, he as a character did not have any choice in what he did as far as he could see it. He had a bunch of really bad choices. He thought he was choosing the choice that was going to end less human life, because in his mind, like, they weren't going to be human life anymore. They were already infected, and he saw what happens when someone gets infected. You know, they don't just get sick and die. They get sick, they wake up, they start killing other people. It's totally different than just like a quarantine scenario. or like someone's just sick and it's contagious. It's like, it's sick, they're sick, it's contagious in the sense that they're gonna get up and kill people, and then they're gonna become zombies. Yeah, Metzen did what he did, and I'm glad he did it, but it doesn't make him a good story writer, you know? He was a good world builder. And there's a difference between, like, there's a big difference between writing lore and, like, writing really good lore and writing good stories. There are people who can write good lore, and they can't write a story. And Metzen is one of those people. That's why they're creative directors, and they're not writers. They're creative directors because they're not writers. Yeah, it's a different thing entirely. And unfortunately, World of Warcraft, like I said, they never hired any writers. They didn't think they fucking needed writers, you know? Why would I pay a writer? I'll just have a creative designer write the fucking story. I'll farm out the quest to all my people. Guys, write some quests for this sprint. Everybody has to turn in 2 quests this sprint. You're an artist? I don't care. Someone said you could write a little bit. Let's crank out some quests, guys. Yeah, it's funny, they had their game designers write all the original quests, and then they were like, well, let's just keep doing that. Let's not hire any writers. Let's not do that. Let's just keep having our game designers write the quests, and that's fine, because nobody reads them anyway. And then here we are. Here we are today in 2023, where for the past 3 expansions, WoW has thought they think they have an amazing A and B plot. They think their stories are the shit. Until their stories come out and are experienced by humans. And then all the humans are like, yeah, but it's not really that good. because it isn't written by writers. So it's never going to be that good. Even listening to some of the dialogue that happens today in Dragonflight, which we have to take as like the best of the best writing that we're ever going to get in the game so far is happening in Dragonflight. And when I listen to a lot of the dialogue, even though the voice actors are top-notch, the writing just kind of sucks. The writing kind of sucks. The characters don't ever come across like they're actual full characters. They come across like they're Saturday morning cartoon characters. When I'm hanging out with Sibelian and Emberthal and all those lads, it just feels like a bunch of, like, I would have been really into this back when I was like 14. When I was watching like a lot of Beast Wars Transformers on TV, and I thought that was the shit. I thought Beast Wars Transformers were like the best storytelling on TV. Like, that's the me that would have really liked the stories that happen in WoW. Would have been 14-year-old me watching Saturday morning cartoons. Would have really loved it. 39-year-old me who's read a couple books, the writing is garbage. That's all. Raphael, yes, and also, yes, and that's the worst part, is like, not only is the writing bad, but in Dragonflight, like, they're filling up all of their cutscenes with this dialogue that's incredibly mediocre dialogue that doesn't do a lot to portray the characters at all or make them believable in any way, and it doesn't make you care about them at all. And it sucks, because the voice actors are really good. And the way they frame those scenes and the way they shoot those scenes in the game engine now looks really good. But the writing itself is bad. And so the combination, each of the parts come together, and it makes a combination of things that just doesn't sit well. It doesn't hit right. Like, they tried to look at the criticisms people had when they compared, like, to Final Fantasy, where in Final Fantasy the characters actually develop and you have these dialogue scenes where the characters will talk to each other about the events going on in FF14, and it's all written very well and, like, masterfully crafted, because Final Fantasy 14 has a huge team of writers writing and handling all the characters, and WoW doesn't have that. So they're trying to do that thing now, where they have these long expositionary, these cutscenes where, like, we're just doing a monologue or having a dialogue, and, like, but the dialogues and monologues are not very well written, So they just turn out to be not very interesting. On that note, guys, I think I have to be done with this for today. My apologies for anybody who really wanted to see RFC. It didn't happen. The Paladin is in a spot right now where leveling is incredibly tedious. And it seems like what we've kind of found out is like not a lot of people are playing hardcore these days, which makes it kind of tough to do much of anything. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here. As for like the future of this character, I'm gonna keep letting him get some rested experience. I don't have any great ideas on where to take him to quests. We're gonna do those quests in Arathi. So whenever we get on this character next, we'll head over here. That'll be cool because I've never been over here before, so I have no idea what's going on. But we'll check that out and we'll kind of go from there. As for the Warlock, I'm not sure about the Warlock. I've been finding it to be kind of boring, to be honest. So I don't really know if we keep playing that. Maybe we try something else. I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll have a chat about the future of hardcore next time we get on the Paladin. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out. It's always a blast to just hang out and talk about World of Warcraft. Even if the game we're playing right now isn't super exciting, even if it's kind of boring, I always love hanging out with you guys. So thank you for being here. And as always, take care of yourselves out in the real world and take care of each other. And we'll see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.